Some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Well, good morning, Sandy. Happy Friday.
Morning.
Hey, Blake and Aaron. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So my voice is a little bit croaky this morning.
Why?
Breaking news, because I got little sleep last night because there's a frog in the master bedroom. Somebody,
No, I don't like frogs.
please help me.
I don't like frogs in the house, I should say.
I opened up my toilet once and
I don't like them in the porch. I don't like them in the house. Don't hang out too long by the car.
Oh, I don't care if they're outside, but yeah, no, I definitely want one in my bed.
Did your husband?
Did you kiss it? It might have been a prince.
No.
Your husband
good.
come to the rescue?
Nope.
What?
Losing. He was just losing away, refusing to get up. He's like, just go to bed. And I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, and you wake up and the thing's on your face.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I would,
Yeah.
I would have a heart attack. So hopefully, we can get him some point today. Somebody else.
So I read they caught the guy they were looking for.
OMG, finally.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, the guy that was on the lamb.
You know what? You know what's amazing? When they finally said what he was wanted for, somebody probably turned him in because nobody knew.
I
right?
see.
So yeah, I mean,
His last name Manning? It was Manning, right?
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just one of those things where I think the RCAPS can start listening a little bit better to the community and perhaps picking up some tips along the way. But
Or
yes,
CMR.
Noel Paul Manning has finally been arrested yesterday evening in Town. So he didn't even go far. All of these months, they've been looking for this man, and he was right there in Town the entire time. And he's now arrested on suspicion of indecent assault. And obviously, they're going to keep him in custody.
So
as
someone
the
was
investigation
harboring him.
continues. Sorry?
Someone was harboring him then? Because I'm assuming they checked his
I don't
house.
know because they didn't really give any of those details, but we do know that he tends to stay in abandoned homes and
You know what
stuff
happens when you
like
assume
that.
that?
So, I mean, I'm assuming that probably some people in the neighborhood had kind of seen him around. And before they were like, they kept saying that he was missing. Remember, we didn't even know that he was a wanted man
Right.
until recently. So it makes a difference when people know you're missing versus, you're actually wanted for a pretty serious, offense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've nabbed him. The police are also looking for the robbers in the Prospect McRuss robbery. They're asking if you have any information about this to please step forward. So this is the one that we mentioned that happened on Wednesday night. So they confirmed that 4 men entered the store, brandished firearms at 3 workers who were on duty. And McRuss actually issued a statement yesterday as well, just thanking the public for their support for what they say is an unfortunate occurrence at their Prospect location. And they also said that their team is okay. When something like this happens, I can tell you that people literally get traumatized. Like it's
Totally.
something that, you have to ensure as an employer that you get therapy and stuff for your staff, because this can have long-lasting implications for the mental health and wellness of people who find themselves in this sort of a predicament.
Yeah.
So they said that they're going to be implementing some improvements to their facility and security measures in an effort to maintain the safety of their staff and customers.
Well, they might have to do ring the doorbell and then they'll unlock it, buzz you in.
Yeah. And quite ironically, yesterday, down by the Liquor for Less store by Price Right, by the airport location, they were actually putting up security cameras. And remember, maybe a month and a half ago, they were also robbed by, that one was a lone gunman who walked in with a gun and robbed them as well. So I'm surprised they took so long to put cameras in. But anyway, they were busy yesterday putting cameras up to secure
I don't
their.
understand why these guys are hitting these little convenience stores. Like, go for the big money. Why aren't they robbing banks?
It's so much easier, to be honest.
Say robbing a bank is pretty hard these days.
Is it?
Yeah. It's just easier to rob a mom and pop store, which is unfortunate because those are the people who are least likely to be in a position to be robbed. Not that anybody really is, but you know what I mean? So yeah, it's quite unfortunate. And obviously these are individuals who don't care about their community in any way, shape, or form. So I know yesterday, as we were ending the show, breaking news was that British Prime Minister Liz Truss was resigning after just 44 days in office. There have been so many memes going around about this, but it's a really interesting time in the UK. She has become the shortest serving leader in British political history. At the age of 47, she literally lasted 44 days in office before making an announcement yesterday morning, our time, that she was going to be stepping down, and they're still hoping that they can find someone within the Conservative Party to replace her. And the interesting thing is, some people are calling for Boris to come back.
Yeah.
No,
they might get Boris again.
He still hasn't said, no, I won't. So come on.
That is so crazy. Yeah. And then there are other people who are saying, listen, this party is done. We need to have a general election, and let's just start from fresh.
Listen, I would say conservative parties in general, they really need to regroup.
Yeah.
Even in the United States, it's just like a disaster. So
yes, and congratulations to the Veterans Association. They had their big gala event over the weekend. They took a little bit of break because of COVID, and now they're back. I was actually very, very fortunate to be able to attend the event, and I must tell you that it was a wonderful event. The governor was there, the premier was there, Minister Turner, Minister Ebanks, Andre Ebanks, that is, were all in attendance, and it was just really fun. It was good to see veterans and people who had served in various aspects. They had some special guests come in from overseas, some guest speakers, and we got to sit at a table, and I was seated right next to a veteran, an older gentleman, and his wife, and it was just a really nice and lovely evening. So this is one of their annual fundraising events that they have. The Veterans Association at no cost offers like certain services to veterans. And provides, monetary assistance and assistance with like different bills and stuff like that. So really awesome event. And they had an auction. They had a giveaway of prizes and stuff, and you could purchase tickets for that. So support the Veterans Association, give them a call, see how you can make a donation for a very worthy cause. And finally, if you're planning on going out this weekend, please remember that the stricter drinking restrictions are now in effect. So have your one beer and go home with the other one and drink it later. Because now if you get caught, the legal limit is 0.07% instead of 0.1.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
No excuse. Plus, even if you get caught and you said, well, I didn't know that it changed, it doesn't matter. It's a strict liability offense. There's no such thing as an excuse.
Yeah. It's a law.
Yep.
Got to know the laws.
It's in.
Yep.
All right, Sandy. Well, have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday morning. Catch Sandy's show right now on Bobo 89.1 FM.
All right, folks. Good morning, everybody. I'm a little bit tired today, but honey child, I'm fired up and we are ready to go. Let's play your intro song on this beautiful Friday morning.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, beaver grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
All right, good morning, folks. Good morning. I feel like I need myself a little rooster this morning to wake us all up. How are you guys doing? Happy Friday. We've got a guest who's going to be joining us here in just a minute. Let me just check on her and see how things are going, because after that, we're going to have a really fiery morning, and I make no apologies for it. So if you're easily insulted, simply turn the radio off for now. It's okay. This might not be your kind of show. Hold on one second. People ready? Like, where's the link, honey child? Coming right up. Coming right up. Let me grab it. Let me grab it. Let me grab it. So yeah, we're going to have Miss Odie on, who's going to be joining us this morning for just a little bit, because she's got to get to work, honey child. And so Noel Paul Manning, as we were saying in the little news segment there, arrested finally. RCIPS, please. The community is here to help you where we can. Trust me, we really do want to help you. But sometimes we have to beg the question, are you actually wanting help from the community? I am sure had you told people from the onset that this was a wanted man, not a missing man, honey child, they would have provided you with assistance a long time ago. What took you so long to say the man was wanted for a sexual offense? Ugh, y'all need to learn a thing or two. You know, look at your American counterparts. They're like, listen, the person is a person of interest. We need to find them ASAP. They're a person of interest in this murder. They're a person of interest in this whatever. Come on now, get it together. Because once people have an idea of how serious the situation is, they will do their best to help the police. But if they think, oh, he's just gone missing and his family doesn't know where he's at and who cares, you know, whatever, they're not going to be particularly bothered about trying to help you find him. But by God, if you say the man is wanted in a sexual assault, the entire Bodetown community is on alert all of a sudden. We're trying to save ourselves, save our children, everyone in the community. So providing a little bit of critical information is something that is very useful to everyone. And it's also useful because maybe people live in the neighborhood and they're like, oh my God, this guy is wanted for sexual assault. I better really start locking my doors and checking around the place, seeing if I see any suspicious characters hanging out that I need to be on the lookout for. Anyway, they found him, a day after, actually finally saying that he's a wanted man for a sexual assault. Go figure. Coincidence? I don't think so. All right. Speaking of crazy people trying to assault women in the community, we do have Miss Odie who is joining us this morning. Good morning to Odie.
Morning, Sandra. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Good, happy, relieved.
Yeah, so you look beautiful.
Thank you.
So, first of all, I want to thank you for being so strong throughout this entire ordeal. We're going to just remind people of why you're here. So last year, January the 3rd, Odie was viciously assaulted by a man as she was jogging in the district of, was it South Sound?
It was actually this year, January 3rd.
It was this year, January. Yes, the 3rd or something, I think. Yeah, my apologies. And so Odie, after her assault, reached out to us. The video is still up. You guys can go and view it and watch it. Oh my God. I remember sitting there, Odie, listening to you, seeing the bruises on your neck. And, I know your leg was injured. And I was thinking to myself, you are such a brave person for sharing your amazing story of fighting this guy off and being able to walk away with your life. And I think a lot of people don't understand how it could have ended so differently for you. And I know at that time you were still, I'm sure, in a state of shock. Now that you've had some time to reflect on what has happened, do you recognize how serious of an assault this was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could have died because he was choking me for over a minute.
Yeah.
Probably if I wouldn't have the strength to fight him back, I won't be here talking with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
It was horrible.
Yeah. So, just recap for us. Here you were jogging. What time in the morning was it again?
It was around 6:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So it was early.
Yeah. And you're just jogging, minding your own business. You had did you have headphones in? I can't remember now.
I don't know.
No. So you were just jogging and minding your own business. And then what happened?
And then almost reaching Scotia Bank in Sound. This person in a bike just came in front of me and jumped on top of me and started hitting my face, pushed me into the bushes, and then come on top of me, started choking me very hard. And the only thing I say in my mind was where I had to fight this guy back because I'm not going to die here, or I'm not going to let him to do whatever he was planning to do. And that's what I did. So I don't know from where I got the strength, but I pushed him off from me and he left. And that's it. I came out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, so
It sounds,
you know,
it sounds like very fast, but at the same time was like a slow motion movie,
yeah,
Yeah, it was horrible.
right. And so you were fortunate enough to fight and get away, and then the police made the arrest. I know initially there was some debate about whether or not they had arrested the right man, so there was some confusion
Yeah.
about that. I spoke to an officer recently, and I was saying, a lot of people don't know this, and this is one of the things that I try to educate people about, is that eyewitness accounts, just because you're in a traumatic situation and other reasons how the brain works, eyewitness accounts are not always as reliable as people think. So in a lineup, if they say to you, pick out the man, it's entirely possible you could get the wrong person, or you might not be able to say, which one it was. But thank God that they had other evidence on this guy. I think there was CCTV footage of him deliberately going out there looking for a victim.
Yeah, well, when I went to the police, they asked me, oh, you want to go to the hospital? I said, no. I want you to take DNA from me, all the proof that you can take from me, and then I will go to the hospital after. And that's what I did. And actually, that also helped a lot to find it.
Very good. So, of course, anytime somebody is in your area, they touch you, whatever, they're leaving DNA evidence behind. And so the police had that to work with.
Yeah.
That was really smart thinking on your part. Very good. So they apprehended him. I know you had some concerns about the process and kind of how long it was taking, but finally he pled guilty last month. And then on Monday of this week, he was actually sentenced. He only got 25 months. And, a lot of people was like, 25 months is nothing. He should be getting more than that.
Yeah.
But it's because of what he was charged with. He was only charged with ABH. So despite what his apparent intent was, because I guess he didn't go much farther because you were able to fight him off, they could only charge him with ABH, which is assault occasioning actual bodily harm, right? Because you had bruises, you had an injured leg, and so on. Yeah. But after he serves his sentence, you are happy that he's not going to be in this country anymore.
That's it. Yeah, I know for a lot of people, they might think that it's a short sentence, 25 months, so he shouldn't get more. And maybe he shouldn't, but the good thing is that he's going to be deported. He's not around. He's not going to be in the community. I'm not going to see him again. So that for me is kind of like life sentence because he's going to go away. I mean, he's not going to be. And that's kind of relief for me.
Yeah. So Charm is saying, morning, we support you, Odie. KK says, brave heart, Odie. She also says that man needs a good assing. Aliana, good morning. So, you have also not tried to be a victim in this situation. Not only did you fight in real time, but you also went as far as trying to raise awareness by, speaking out publicly, which I think is amazing. You've participated in several marathons and events to try to raise awareness, try to raise funds. So tell us a little bit about your personal efforts to try to just educate people. And, we've got a link here where you are participating in an upcoming marathon to raise funds as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's it. I didn't want to stay in the dark. I didn't want to be a victim. I want other women to take this as an example and put in your mind that situation like this, you can come out stronger and
Mm-hmm.
out. You need to speak out. Other women need to know, um, uh, about things like this, like it's happening to the community, so you can set
Mm-hmm.
an example for other women, and they can actually be more aware in there. Because me running for more than 12 years in Cayman, nothing ever happened to me. And I never thought that something like that will happen to me, but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I needed to put my face and my name out there, not just say, oh, this happened to me, but I don't want to say my name because so don't feel scared. Speak
Mm-hmm.
out, because you can imagine how many people you can help doing this. And
Mm-hmm.
what I did to um because I was getting so many different opinions from many other people, and I say, this is gonna it's confusing me. So for my health and for my mind and for my body, I need to do
Mm-hmm.
something for myself too. So I put a challenge myself that I will run 4 marathons in 4 months. And
Wow.
I say, so this also can help me to help other people, other women in similar situations. So I say, doing this, I'm gonna raise some funds for the crisis center, where a big support for me while
Mm-hmm.
this process. And that's what I'm doing. I run a marathon in September, one in October, and then now I'm going to New York, and then I'm gonna finish it with Cayman Islands Marathon. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy because people been very supportive. I put a goal of $15,000, and this close, only $300 to make the 50,000, and I haven't finished yet the full marathon. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that the people are supporting me and supporting the crisis center.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much, Odie, for that. And we have a few more people who are commenting.
Yes.
Daisy says, Bien por ti, Odie. Richard says, very courageous lady. Well done for defending yourself so well. All of us need to take self-defense classes. And Janetta says that you're mentally still damaged. So tell us about your mind. I mean, obviously, physically you have healed, but how are you doing mentally and how are you feeling?
Well, Sandra, the trauma is going to be always there. It's gonna be with
Mhm.
ever. But I feel like I'm working on that. I'm working on me. I'm working on not to think about too much about that and put that behind and trying to go
Mhm.
forward.
Mhm. Yeah.
Eh,
Did you
yeah,
get any therapy at all?
yeah, I did. I did.
Yes. Good. Yeah. Because sometimes, if we try to move on too quickly and we haven't dealt with it, it'll come up later in different ways, manifest itself. So I'm glad to hear that you
Yeah.
were able to get some assistance. So Marshall says, I'm so glad that she found the strength to fight him off and save her own life. And just lots of positivity. Renvo says, Odie, as a man, I'm really sorry about what happened
Thank you.
to you, because we as men should protect women and girls and boys. Two people must step up with these animals, because hiding them and letting them harm women, young ladies or boys, keep quiet will hurt them
Yeah,
mentally, emotionally, in the long run, physically. So thank you so much, Renvo,
I agree.
for that, because a lot of times we focus on, oh, women must go to self-defense courses and women must do this. And, it really comes down to a man making a decision to not assault a woman in the first place and not hurt a woman. So unfortunately, this guy, Ingram, really made the wrong decision. So you were there in court for his sentencing. What was that moment like? How did you feel?
It was very emotional the way that Magistrate Hernandez spoke um, about the situation, about me, about all the women in the community. Was amazing. She really
Mhm,
defended me and defend all the women out there, and
mhm,
it made me cry. Actually, she really made.
mhm.
the way she spoke, it was very um, straight, very strong with her words, and I can't really explain. It was very emotional for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, he's behind bars. He's been there since May, and he's going to be deported. Debbie says, good morning. So sorry for your experience. Glad that you had the fortitude to fight back, too. But you did not have, she said, too bad you did not have some pepper spray to blind him with. Cayman keeps importing rejects. So sad. Do you think that if, and I mean, hindsight, they say, is always 2020, and I'm sure you've reflected many, many times on what transpired. Do you think that anything could have changed? Like if you had pepper spray, would that have helped you get away sooner or quicker? Or, I mean, he blindsided you. Like you just didn't even see this guy coming, right?
Yeah, no. It's very difficult like that. Only being in the situation, you can say, okay, I did it, but you can never say before, oh, if it would have had a spray, because you don't know how you're going to respond to something like that. You don't know how the strong person gonna be. You don't know how strong you're going to be. So it's really very difficult to say if I have a paper spray or I would spray him. You really don't know. It's something that you have to think fast and there. Probably if you take training, you know how to become in a situation like that and be like, but probably not even like that. It's very difficult to say. Like I'm not gonna fight that guy back, but my strength came out, so I was just fighting for my life and thinking about my family. That all I was thinking. So, but you really never know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So thank you for that.
I really want to thank you and thank others, medias, and all the community. It was been having a very, very big support, but it was because I spoke out, and I saw a lot of people that stopped me on the road, in the supermarket, on the street, me for speaking out. A few of these women went to similar situation and they didn't speak out. Some of them because they were in work permit and they were afraid to say something. So I'm very, very, I can't even say, I'm very grateful and very blessed with the community support. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you so much. Brownin here says, I support you too, Odie. I hope even that this POS is deported and that wherever he's deported to, that they know about him there. Maybe you can contact them. Well, I certainly hope the police will notify me. I don't know where in Nicaragua he'll return. I'm sure it's a big country, but hopefully, this record will follow him. But in any event, anyone who Googles his name will be able to find him. We do have a caller on the line, Odie, so maybe this person has some comments for you. So we'll take this call. Good morning, caller, and welcome to the program.
Good morning. No, I just wanted to say that yesterday I think I was listening on the talking box. I think it was the Al Jazeera, and they put a little short piece on this femicide in Mexico, and it is so tragic that they're highlighting now that the ages of the women that are being attacked and just murdered and brutalized is getting younger and younger. And the program was talking about a 13-year-old. I think she was like at school or on the way to school, and somebody just fell down on top of her and did what they had to do and just cast the body apparently somewhere close to the school, etc., etc. And then to wake up this morning to have this woman, I didn't catch all of it, just the last couple of minutes, but just to say that, you just got to be strong. You got to pick up the pieces and you got to move on, just like she said she did. Because the community might support you, but the community can't do it for you. And it's not gender. I don't talk about gender violence, like man on woman. I talk about it as domestic violence. Everybody gets some in sometime, but I was listening intently to that yesterday, and I just turned on to this. Like, bully for you, man, bully for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Okay, bye-bye.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, caller. Yes,
Right.
Odie, I know you have to go to work this morning. So thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and joining us. And we're here for you this morning. Anything at all that you need, don't hesitate to reach out. And good luck with the marathon, folks. Please go and donate. It's a fundraising event for the Women's Crisis Center. The Women's Crisis Center does amazing, amazing work. We encourage you to do your best to support these nonprofit organizations. And of course, Odie's doing her part by running in this marathon and raising funds. So Odie, thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. You too. All right, folks, a bit of breaking and sad news this morning. My God, I don't even know what to make of this. I just hate to hear these things. But this is something that impacts everyone in the Cayman Islands. As a Caymanian, this is shocking news this morning. I have some really sad news to report. I don't even know what to say, but what we know, folks, is that one of our own, a young lady who's a physician, no less, has been killed in a vehicular fire on Queens Highway. We don't have any details of how this happened, but I can just tell you that this community is definitely going to be already, I'm receiving numerous messages about this, and this community is really going to feel it this morning and beyond. Someone said that the car ran off the road and caught fire. And unfortunately, this young lady, one of her own who's worked so hard to become a physician, has passed away. Oh my God. It's shocking. God. All right. Morning, caller. Hello, good morning.
I just heard a whole pile of sirens walk past me. Just by your description, I don't already know who that is. Oh my!
I think the sirens might be going by you for another reason, because apparently there's another accident. There's a 3-car accident in front of Burger King on the waterfront. So, folks, if you're in that area, please
traffic. No more than traffic jam.
Avoid. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll call you
so horrible. Yes, my dear.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, love. My God. So the police responded to this one vehicular incident at around 6:43 this morning on Queens Highway in the vicinity of Sunnyfield Road. It's a motor vehicular accident that unfortunately is a fatality. The vehicle was engulfed in flames, and police and fire rescue are on the scene. We've just posted it on our social media channels as well. I think it hurts when anyone has lost their life. And Alice, I don't want to say who it is on air, because it's entirely possible that a lot of family members, may not be yet aware. It's still fairly early in the morning. So let's give it a little bit of time, but it's such a shocker. And I think that, Cayman being what it is, by 9 o'clock this morning, everybody will know who it is in any event, unfortunately. But let's give them time. Jonathan, obviously, we don't know if any speed or anything like that was involved. I mean, she could have been leaving a night shift. She is a physician. She could have just fallen asleep at the wheel, could have been tired. I mean, trust me, there's some times that even myself, I find myself driving when I probably shouldn't be because I'm just tired. I'm like, oh my God. But, we think, oh, I'm just going up the street. Nowhere in Cayman is that far. And I'll be able to stay awake for that time. But it takes one split second, literally, to doze off and to fall asleep and end up running off the road. And unfortunately, vehicles do ignite a lot of times when there's impact of some sort. So really, really sad news this morning. This community is going to be just in a state of shock. We already are, but undoubtedly the shock will start to set in a little bit. So incredibly sad. Wow. It was a Honda Fit. So someone said she was going to work and her parents came up on it. Oh my God. Her parents found her? Oh my God. This story just gets more horrible by the minute. What the hell? Wow. Unbelievable. All right. As we get more information, we'll see what we can share with you. Renvo, thank you very, very much. I'm sure her family appreciates that. Miss Debbie's here. Says this news of our own young lady being killed is so devastating, to say the least. Good morning to Lavana. Marshall saying that's so sad to hear. It reminds me of those two cousins that died in a car fire years ago in East End. Really sad. My condolences to her family. I don't want to say anything more about this at this time, but once we have an opportunity to let this settle in, you'll see why this is even more of a sad situation. All right. So let me just address something that has been happening in this community, in this women's and Cayman group. Child, let me tell y'all something. I ignore a lot on social media because I have to, for my own sanity, and I just don't have the time. You know what I mean? But there's certain times when something pops off on social media that it is my responsibility to highlight it, to discuss it, and to bring it to the forefront. And this is unfortunately one of those times. I am disappointed, and I want all of our friends that are listening this morning, expats and Caymanians, to try to pray for the spirit of listening this morning, to really hear what I'm about to tell you. Yesterday, I was saying that you guys know that I don't drink, but I really felt like this morning I needed to bring out a glass of wine here and have it in the studio, because y'all are going to make me go off on you in a way, speaking to some of my imported people here in the Cayman Islands who are willfully ignorant. And I call it willful ignorance, and I'll tell you why here in a second. The things that you say and how you respond to Caymanians when they want to speak up or when they want to have a voice in their own country, to me, is a little bit disturbing. And I want you to understand that this comes from as good of a place as I possibly can, without popping off and really getting ignorant on your behinds. Because you're so clueless. And I think to myself, how on earth can anybody come to the Cayman Islands as a guest in our country and be so clueless about so much that is happening here? And I see what's happening, and I guess at some level, I understand intellectually what's happening. It doesn't make it right, and your cluelessness has to be corrected. Nobody wants to tell y'all because everybody's like a little bit afraid. You know, this women's group used to be called the Real Women of Cayman. Finally, they got the memo that even that name is insulting. Y'all are not the Real Women of Cayman. What does that mean? Finally, they changed it to Women in Cayman. Changing of the name apparently had no meaningful impact on what is happening in that group. I'm a member of the group, and I guess I don't know if I still am, because as of yesterday, y'all were demanding, oh, remove this mall road reporter. I'm like, I was like, listen to me when I tell you I don't care. Remove me. So what? Is that going to allow you to continue to live in your obliviousness, in your bubble with a better degree of comfort because you want to pretend that people such as myself don't exist here in the Cayman Islands? Y'all need to get a clue. You need to wake up. The name change never helped you any at all. Let me give you, for those of you who listen to the radio, you're like, oh, hell, what is Sandy talking about? Let me give you the backdrop of what this is. So I'm a member in the group, but I got to be honest with you. I don't even get to read or see what's in the group because most of the time that I'm now on social media, and you'll know this, by the way, if you are a long-term friend of mine on social media, you'll see that my personal page really doesn't get much traction or use, certainly not like it used to. I simply do not have the time. There's only so much time in the day. And quite frankly, I am busy beyond busy. And so the thing that gives is social media on a personal level. I have to use social media for business purposes. Yes. So most of the time I'm logged in as the CMR page. Now, Facebook about a month or two ago changed how how pages are handled. And when you log in as a page, you pretty much remain as that page unless you go and you select your personal profile. But because most of what I'm doing is actually from the perspective of the page, I don't often log in to my personal profile, which means that all the groups that I'm in and all that kind of stuff, I don't even see what's going on in these groups. But it is always the case that people who are in these groups will send me stuff. Boy, listen, during Ivan, y'all should have seen the post then. Y'all are so clueless in these groups that it is truly shocking. The questions and the comments on our government and the things that people had to say, I was just like, oh, honey child, I'm going to have to take about 5 blood pressure tablets if I try and take these people on. But today it's going to happen. And I would like for people like Laura, what's her name? Laura Toner, Ben Toner, QC, your lovely wife. She needs to be in the front row of this classroom this morning, and she needs to be paying attention, right? No one is telling you the truth of how Caymanians feel in their own country. And I don't know why. I guess they don't want to hurt your little feelings, or they figure you don't care anyway. So what is the point? But I think at some point we need to have this discourse. By us not having it, and then this is what I find particularly shocking and egregious, right? By us not having these discussions, we only make things worse. Caymanians will continue to be marginalized and put in the corner. The foreign workers who come here and live a very different sort of lifestyle will continue to live that lifestyle and have zero clue about what is going on. And they continue to exert their opinion in such a manner, particularly in social media, that really makes me shake my damn head. Now, I know that when you comment on social media, there is the lack of inflection. You don't get to hear tone of voice. There's like so much that you miss out that a lot of times people get insulted with a comment on social media when there's really no need for them to be insulted. So let me show you the comment or the post that we posted on CMR that got all these ladies in their high tea with their little panties in a bunch yesterday, calling for my head on a platter and, oh, remove her from the group. She should have known better. First of all, I want y'all to listen very carefully when I tell you that I don't care. Remove me from your group. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I simply do not care what you think. What you think is as important to me or less important to me than the price of rice in friggin' China. Understand me when I tell you this, because you guys have you have somehow perfected the art of trying to gaslight people in this community. Oh, we're going to ostracize you. You're not wanted here, Sandra Hill. Oh, that's Sandra from Caymanians. Trust me. Let me say it in my best English posh accent. I don't give a damn. I don't care what you think. I don't care what groups you remove me from. You need to get a clue. If you actually cared about this country, you would sit down and listen to what I have to say this morning. Living in your proverbial bubble where you are protected, you think. Private schools, posh dinners. Oh, if we go to enough cancer galas and we rub enough shoulders with the governor and with this one and that one, we'll be just fine in this community. One day, the issues that we all face is going to come knocking at your gated community door. So you need to wake the hell up. Huh? Oh, listen, we appreciate all the gala events and all the fanciness that you want to go on with. And let's fundraise for this, that, and that. A lot of NPOs rely on that, and that's fantastic. But when you sit in these groups and you have your conversations and you make your commentaries and people see it and people share it with me, it is quite obvious that you actually don't have a clue. You are as clueless as I don't know what. So yesterday, several people sent me this message. And like I said, from during COVID, or even before COVID, it became very, very obvious that a large number of these people in this group are willfully ignorant, and the things that they say, demanding the reopening of the country, demanding this, it's like, who are you? Who died and made you the king or queen of the Cayman Islands? Some of y'all can't even vote, but yet you act like you are running the show. I'm just like, where the hell do these people come out from? Listen to me. I have lived in another man's country, and I make no apologies for what I'm going to say to you. Y'all need to respect people in their country. You don't have no clue what it means, apparently. So a couple of people sent me this. It says Women in Cayman, group member. So I'm assuming, I'm not really an administrator in groups, but I think Facebook has changed a lot of things where someone can post and not actually have their name show up, right? Or I don't know if it's the person posting it or if it allows the, like I said, I'm in a group and I don't even participate in this group. Occasionally I might see something. So I don't know if the administrators do it on behalf of the person or if they're able to do it themselves and then change it to group members so their name doesn't show. I don't even know how it works. But this person said, "Hi, ladies. Recently relocated and finally found a small apartment but I am on a very tight budget until my right to work comes through. And I would like to know where I can get basic utensils, toaster, kettle, etc., reasonably priced, and then they put in bracket, as cheap as possible. I am struggling mentally as well with the change since I have arrived and would like to know where is the best place to access mental health support. So several people sent it to me and they had questions. And out of their questions, I then put it together as a post and said, discuss, dear CMR, how can a person be moving here if a work permit is not yet approved? Seems odd that you're moving to struggle with some bare essentials. Also, not to sound unsympathetic, but wouldn't she do better at home around family and affordable, I think that's what's, it says affordable care, but mental care, healthcare, to deal with her mental health issues. One of the most stressful things is moving to a new country and being around total strangers with no support system in place. Well, Lord Jesus, why on earth did we say that for? Y'all blew up this post with your comments. Oh my God, how can y'all make assumptions about her immigration status? Oh, obviously, if she says right to work, it means that she's married to a Cayman, and y'all are so clueless. It's like you want to speak from a position of authority and yet you still remain so clueless. Okay. What are you talking about? There's more than one right to work in the Cayman Islands. Being married to a Caymanian gives you RERC. That is one way. That is one right to work. You can also be a person of independent means with the right to work. So y'all geniuses who were commenting on this post as though you have a friggin' immigration law degree, go back to the drawing board. What I find interesting is a lot of persons come here. They've never traveled outside of London, Canada, the US, some little whole bunk town in Texas in their lives. And then they come here and all of a sudden they're an expert in everything, including Cayman immigration law. Wow, really? I always used to find it so incredibly peculiar. Because I'd say to them, oh, you're here in the Cayman Islands. Where else have you lived? All over the world, no doubt, because you're from a big city. You're from London. Oh my God, you must have been traveling the world and working all over the world and living all over the world. Oh no, this is my first time living abroad. Oh, right, really? And you've come to the Cayman Islands thinking that we're all walking around in grass skirts and we're all stupid and we're all dumb. And you're the expert in immigration and you don't know that there's more than one category of a right to work? You know what is so funny about this? Is when this was sent to me, let me just see if I can find the additional post. When it was sent to me, I said to the person, I don't know what this person means by right to work. It is an unusual way to say it. And so as evidence of the truthfulness of that statement, I actually posted several of the conversations because they're assuming that I'm the one who screen grabbed this. Be careful with your assumptions because I didn't. People sent it to me. And so I posted those so that people could see the questions for themselves. So the first person said to me, let me just see here. How is someone relocating here before their right to work comes through? And I said, what do they mean by right to work? And I even put that in quotations. And I go on to say, is that a permit or residency with the right to work? What does it mean? I don't know what this person meant. And for those of you who jumped in the comment section about, oh, you know, people in here and CMR jump into conclusions, you need to learn how to read. Because the post that we put up did not jump to any conclusions. It asked questions, right? So it asked the question. There was a question mark or two in the post. It is asking a question. How, it says, actually at least 3 questions in here. How can a person be moving here if a work permit is not yet approved? Seems odd that they're moving here to struggle with bare essentials. Now, let me be very clear. Whoever posted this when they said right to work, they could very well mean a work permit. Some people, if English isn't your first language, for example, or you might just say it, the right to work, you get through a work permit. It doesn't necessarily mean, because certainly by the rest of the post, it doesn't sound like they have any spousal support. So the option of it being a right to work, like RERC, doesn't sound likely. And I'll tell you why it also is unlikely that that's the case. Although y'all brilliant attorneys at law were arguing that this person obviously is married to a Caymanian. How is that obvious? On the one hand, you're telling people don't jump to any conclusions. And then on the other hand, you're claiming that that is obvious. Let me break it down with a little lick of common sense. How is it obvious that this person is married to a Caymanian? You know why it isn't obvious? Because if she was married to a Caymanian, she would have already been in this frigging country and not just moving here. Y'all are so blissfully ignorant. It is shocking. Huh? Take it from me, someone who has been through the RERE process with a foreign husband, a foreign spouse. You have to be here living together as a frigging couple. When you submit your application, provide your documentation, proof of residency, proof of where you live, send in the phone bill, send in the water bill, send in the CUC bill. You need to do an affidavit saying that the two of you live together and it's a bona fide marriage and not one of convenience. So in my mind, whatever this person is trying to describe as a right to work, it is not her being married to a Caymanian. Y'all ain't got no common sense. I know you think you're so intelligent because just because you're a foreigner makes you intelligent. Just because you're married to a lawyer makes you also a lawyer and makes you also a QC. Brilliant. Good for you. You're going to get offended this morning? I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but really I'm not. I don't give a damn. So if she is not married to a Caymanian, which seems to be the most logical position, what other rights to work does she have? The independent rights to work, residency with a right to work, comes because you got money and you can show a certain, category of, okay, I've been a resident in the Cayman Islands, blah, 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 but I'd like to be able to work, but I have independent means. I don't necessarily need to work, but yeah, I'd like to work sometimes, part-time, whatever. And you make that argument to immigration. She said she just moved here and she is tethering on not even being able to afford essentials for her little apartment. Now, let me be very, very clear. She says she's on a tight budget until her right to work comes in. So no money is coming in. There's no spouse there that's assisting and supporting in any way, apparently. It sounds to me like she's actually in a work permit, but she's just misusing the term rights to work, not realizing that that actually has a very different potential legal definition. All right. Nowhere in it does it say that you can't ask for help or that nobody is not going to help you, yada, yada, yada. It's just simply asking the question, how is she here? This is a legitimate immigration question. If you are on a work permit, you have to wait until your permit is approved. When you say you've just arrived here, this begs a lot of questions. Arrived from where? You just relocated. Relocated how? You came in on a visitor's visa and then got a job, which we know a lot of that's happening. Because if you had an application pending before you got here, immigration doesn't let you come through the door until your permit is approved. That's why people are sending this to me saying, Sandy, I got some questions. These are legitimate questions. But when you go in the comment section, you are felt like you are so ostracized your voice as a Caymanian. Oh, well, what are you asking that question for? And they love to throw up this term Caymankind. Honestly, in some respects, Caymankind is the worst catchword that has ever been created as a marketing ploy here in the Cayman Islands. Our tourism industry created that term, and it is misused, misunderstood, abused. Y'all take Caymankind for being Cayman foolish. And I'm going to set y'all a little bit straight here today. Caymanians, one of the reasons why we are where we are, feeling so incredibly marginalized, is because we have been too kind for too long. So don't come here with your Johnny come lately. And I don't care if it's 1 year, 5 years, you still Johnny come lately self. And talking about, oh, hashtag Caymankind. What do you know about being Caymankind? What do you know about how Caymanians have literally rolled out the red carpet for people for years? The level of Cayman kindness that has existed in this country from the onset is unparalleled to anything that you would see anywhere else in the world. That's why you can come here and live the kind of life that you have lived in such creature comfort. And that is why you can form these groups. Right? Where you feel like you're actually the premier and you're running the country. That is precisely why we are having a problem, because we have been Caymankind for far too long. So don't come and throw that phrase up at us talking foolishness. The people in this country go out of their way to help people. Let me address the second part of this post about her mental health. Listen to me. Moving anywhere is a very stressful situation. Take it from me. Like I said, I actually have experience. Right? And if you are not prepared for that move, so you're moving before a work permit is approved or before you have whatever so-called rights to work means, you're coming here with little to no money. And let's be honest, rent, not cheap. Rent, deposit, you had to buy a plane ticket to come from somewhere yonder. There's nothing wrong with asking for help or asking where you can get things on the cheap. As cheap as possible. Cayman, not a cheap place, in case you missed that memo. Somebody should have told her that. And if you want the cold hard truth, it's also not a place that if you're struggling with any kind of mental health issues that you really want to be. Y'all forgot to tell your friends that? Cayman doesn't exactly have the best infrastructure in place for that. And I dare say that if you were a person who's struggling with anxiety, mental health issues, whatever, your best bet is to actually surround yourself with family, friends, and good therapists, none of which it appears this person has in the Cayman Islands. This may not be the place for you. And when the person asks that second bit about their mental health, like, why would you want to come if you're having these mental health struggles? Y'all jump up, oh, well, this will make her have more mental health. Listen, people can't even speak their minds anymore without insulting the bunch of y'all. There was nothing in this post that was racist, anti-foreign, nothing of the sort. People are asking what are actually legitimate points of discussion. And you all make them feel like, oh, you can't ask those questions. You can't insult us. You can't do that. Listen, you can control what happens in your little group, or so you think. But you are not going to control the narrative in this community or this country. If we want to ask questions about how we're importing poverty and people who can't even buy utensils and who are moving to a new country and haven't even budgeted to buy themselves a little knife set and a fork and whatever, we are entitled to ask the friggin' question. That is the very least that we can do. And I don't care if you are insulted by that or you don't understand it or you don't like it. I'm trying to educate you this morning. Because the fact that y'all get insulted by what is actually a very legitimate question. Really begs the question how much you understand about what is happening here. So their response to all of this hoopla yesterday is, oh, let's block Sandy from the group. One person said in the WhatsApp message, they said, here we go. Like we don't have enough of her own. Maybe she should go back and seek help in her own country. Were you insulted by that? I'm not insulted by that. Here is Aline Zulima in the WhatsApp. She's actually, this is in their group now. Somebody screenshot this and sent this to me as well, by the way. Very disappointing. Sandra is part of this group too. So she must know the rules and know the rules in all caps perfectly. Alini, and whatever the hell your name is. I don't know your group rules because, like I said, I'm hardly active in the group. But ignorance of the law or your supposed rules is zero excuse. And let me tell you now what I think of your supposed group rules. I care not what your group rules are. Here's why. You are in a group. When it says a private group, that means that Facebook allows you to have public groups where anybody can see the post, anybody can join, whatever. A private group is by invitation only. How many people are in this women's group? How many thousands of people? Let me just have a quick look. If you believe that you have any right to privacy in a group that has, let me see, 8.2 thousand people in it, y'all are less than bright. There is no such thing as a right to privacy in a group with people, over 8,000 people. There's no such thing as privacy with a group with one other person. So if the group rule is, oh, you can't share anything that happens in this group, your 8.2 thousand people, obviously some of them don't approve of that group rule because they send me stuff all the time. This isn't the first time, and I can assure you removing me from the group will do nothing, as it will not be the last time either. Y'all can sit in these groups and be oblivious and have these conversations. And you don't even know how you're insulting the Caymanian people. Ever turn around, oh, I just got a job. I don't know anything about the Cayman Islands. I'm relocating from here. Oh, this and that. And there are people who are sitting there who are gainfully unemployed, qualified Caymanians, by the way, who are seeing this. And if I had $1 for every single time one of those people messaged me to be like, how easy is it to get a job in Cayman? Because I've been looking for a minute, have qualifications, have a little bit of experience. I can't find work. But some Johnny come lately or Jean come lately with zero experience, because sometimes they'll even tell you, oh, I don't have any experience in corporate, or I don't have any experience in a bar or whatever. And all of a sudden I got a job and I got a work permit. And now I'm moving to the Cayman Islands. Where can I live? I need to, some of them even put, but they don't have no money to come here. So they're looking for a place to stay for free. Oh, can I just sleep on the beach? It's like, what? Y'all want to really have a true discussion about what we're actually importing into this country? My God. And these are not people who are going to be making this minimum wage that y'all keep complaining about, for the record. It's ridiculous. Aline, Alini, Alana, whatever the hell your name is, I don't care about your group rules. Remove me from the group. I'll survive perfectly fine, honey chill. I will continue to eat and be as plump as I want to be. You all are clueless. Here's another one, Lisa V. Who the hell is Lisa V? She is gonna pull the karma card. Don't you just love when they pull the karma card on you? Lives in Georgetown. 3 mutual friends, Stacy and Cynthia McCoy. Poor her. She goes on to say, Sandra don't care what she posts. By the way, I'm sure you're from a country where you should have learned some proper English. It should be Sandra doesn't care and not Sandra don't care. I'm just saying, because you're more intelligent than us. I know that you are. You work for a fund administration company. Surely you must understand how to use proper English. It should be Sandra doesn't care, not don't care. But anyway, what she posts, she only thinks about likes and views. She only thinks about tearing others down for the love of her page. But I believe in karma, and you've also misspelled karma. Lisa V, I'm pretty sure that you don't know me, and we should probably keep it that way. You have no idea what I care about from what I don't care about. The CMR platform has been an amazing platform that has helped so many people in so many different ways. Now, I see that you're an animal lover. Good for you. You're out there rescuing dogs, helping out the Humane Society. Great, nice. Glad to see it. Cat lover, wonderful. But you don't know anything about me. Am I insulted by your misinformation? No, I don't care. You're right. I don't care. Not about my post. I don't care about you and what you think. And you believe in karma? Oh, that's beautiful. And your point would be what? People in this country have a right to speak their mind, and you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. You know what is so ironic? And then I'm going to read some of your comments. Earlier in the week, you might have seen me post it in the discussion segment. I just never got around to it. I wanted to talk about Kanye West and his anti-Semitic comments that he's made recently that's had the world up in arms. We actually posted something about that on our page, and I was really surprised to see the number of people supporting Kanye, saying, oh, you know, he's got freedom of speech, and this is JP Morgan wanting to end their relationship with him. And people are like, well, why do they want to end their relationship with him, but they didn't want to end it with pedophile? What's the pedophile's name that committed suicide again? Whatever his name is. And I thought to myself, I was really surprised to see the comments, because what Kanye said was completely inappropriate. And there is a line that you can cross, right? When you speak about people, I'm not one here that advocates being prejudiced towards any group of people, whether it's Caymanians, Jamaicans, Filipinos, Americans, or English friends. So even when I have people say very broad statements that they hate English people, I say, listen, that's not appropriate. You can't hate an entire nation or entire country of people. Nobody's here advocating hate. And I wanted to talk about why we should all be very concerned when a celebrity has that kind of power and people listen to what he has to say, and they listen to his comments, and he's out there spewing hate on people. He's even spewed hate on Black people because he's woefully confused about what he is. Only God knows. Kanye has some serious mental health issues. But the impact of his words is strong, powerful, and it has meaning. That is different than someone asking questions about certain things in this community. And Caymanians have a right to ask the question, who are we developing for? What is it that we're doing? If Caymanians say, why do we continue to import poverty? It's a legitimate question, because it impacts all of our quality of life. You might not like it, especially if you think it applies to you. But it's not a question that is prejudiced in any way. It's not a question that is anti this person or anti that person. If we want to say, listen, maybe we need to start having some standards of who we allow to come into the Cayman Islands, live here amongst us, work here amongst us, et cetera, et cetera. Do you know that in the United States of America, when you go to apply for your US citizenship, do y'all know what some of the things are that they take into consideration? The criteria? Did you know that mental health is one of those things? What? Are you kidding me? Go look it up. Because like I said, you've lived in your own countries with no concept or any idea of what even the immigration requirements are. And so you don't even know that one of the elements to become a US citizen, everything from you can't have a communicable disease. Imagine that. To mental health, you must have a good moral character. So when y'all come here and you want to tear down our criteria, oh, well, who cares about morality? And then go and apply in your own country for citizenship, naturalization, and see what the requirements are. Be proficient in basic spoken and written English and demonstrate knowledge of U.S. history and government. Y'all don't have a clue because it is not something that has ever impacted you. So of course you're not going to know. But here in the Cayman Islands, we don't have a right to speak out and to demonstrate our concerns, to speak on our concerns about why we're importing people. We're still waiting on a mental health facility. And believe me, by the time that it is built, we're going to need 5 of them. We don't have a right to speak up about, you know what? Cayman has a lot of our own issues. We got a lot of criminals here. We got our own people, mental health issues, drug issues, whatever. Is it too much to ask that we don't import any in? If we have a choice of who we're going to bring in, can we bring in people who are going to add value to this community instead of continue to tear the community down? And if we ask those questions, all of a sudden, oh, we're insensitive. We're this, we're that. Oh, ban her from the group. I mean, really and truly? Let's look at some of their comments because, I couldn't help but have a little moment when I had to just shake my head at some of these. So Miss Laura Toner, she's going to be in the forefront of it. There she is, her and her lovely husband, Ben. She jumps up and says, oh, wait a minute. Where's her post? Oh, gosh, where is it? There's so many of them. Let me see if I can find her now. Oh, yes, here she is. I was so heartened to read of all the people offering to help the lady who is struggling with mental health and sourcing utensils for her home, which means I also feel livid that some what? Oh, but they wouldn't remove her from the group because she's allowed to curse and use those types of words. We won't use that here in the radio because Lord knows if I actually said it, Off-Reg would be calling me after the show. But y'all know what she said, D-head, and she spelled it out. Felt it okay to violate group rules and screenshot that lady's post to send to Mall Road and open up to the public to criticize yet again anyone asking for financial help, making assumptions about this lady who must be not from here, et cetera, et cetera. Let me just pause right there before I read anything else. Where the hell is the woman from, Laura Toner? Your husband is a lawyer. Did he marry somebody who has no education? Because the woman said she just located from here. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you just located from here, that mean you're not from here? So I'm not quite sure what your point or what the issue is. If she's not from here, she's not from here. That wasn't the focal point of the commentary. And furthermore, Shows you how dishonest people like Laura can be. The vast majority of the comments were not making fun of her or criticizing her or any way, shape, or form. In fact, most of the people said, no, we don't like this post. You know, this person needs help. Some people just told her where to go get cheap utensils from, blah, blah, blah. She goes on to say 0 reporting and all of the kindness offered here. You need to stop lying on people, Laura. That's not true. I don't know if admins can find out who screenshot it, but they can certainly ban Mall Road reporters from this group, as they have also violated group rules by sharing the screenshot in the name of, and then she puts in quote, news. Laura, please ban me from the group. I don't care. In fact, I'd like to thank one of the group administrators who reached out to me. And she says, hi, Sandy, admin of Women in Cayman here. This post really needs to come down. It's a violation of our rules, this person's privacy, and is in especially poor taste, given this woman is asking for help. And then she puts in bracket, mental help in a group for support. Please help me understand how this was posted to CMR. I'm receiving calls to have any CMR journalists removed from the group. I prefer to discuss and hear from you first, though. Hope you can appreciate our concerns, as this has crossed the line and could be so damaging to the mental health and well-being of a woman in her group and community. First of all, at no point does anybody know who the person is. And if y'all rely on social media for your mental health and wellness, you need to see a professional ASAP. If you're that fragile, stay off of social media. But once again, there was nothing in the post that was extremely derogatory about this woman and her mental health. The question was worded and said, maybe if she's having mental health issues, you stay where you're going to get the most amount of assistance. And that is not the Cayman Islands. I'm pretty sure we're all willing to admit to that. This is not the place to come if you got friggin' mental health issues. This is a place to come where it'll probably throw you over the edge. This is not the paradise that y'all want to believe that it is. Reality check. So my response to this administrator is, lady, just remove me from your group. I'm not taking down the post. You can't tell me what to do on my public page. Right? I'm not even going to engage you in any further explanation. I'm certainly not going to be sharing with you the multiple people that would have sent me this post. If you want to remove CMR journalists, I think I'm the only one in the group. Go right ahead. I don't care. The world is not going to end today because you remove me from a group, nor is the sharing of your post. Here's another one from Sarah. She says that she's new to the island and also struggling with mental health. She offers her support and say, you know, if you need a chat, let's get together. This is great. I suggest you speak to a real professional, though. I mean, it might be good to have friends. Maybe Sarah can be a friend. But isn't it astonishing how many people are coming here with mental health issues when we don't even have a mental health facility? Meanwhile, we got a reigning Miss Cayman who has some serious mental health issues going around beating people up. There's a lot of cracks in this so-called paradise. Y'all need to wake up and see the cracks. Now, Catherine says, sadly, nothing is off limits for Cayman Marlowe. This is Catherine Wells. Oh, Catherine, you should try to get your facts straight. There's a lot that's off limits and there's a lot that we don't post, so that's not correct. She says, even in your darkest time, this is our own Caymanians now. You know, there always got to be one or two of them that got to jump on the white is right bandwagon. While I hope CMR's intent was not to be malicious, oftentimes things posted there comes with a lack of sensitivity and compassion, especially from its supporters. Again, Catherine, where does that come from? Because 90% of the comments on the post were very, very supportive of the young lady. So I don't understand this. Now, another lady, Miss Libby, says, I completely agree. On a similar note, when we had the gunmen in SMB and I posted in this group about it, it was a very frightening experience. I was very dismayed to find out that someone in the group screenshot my post and sent it to Andrel Harris, who then printed it quoting my words in the Compass. I bet y'all not asking for Compass journalists to be removed from the group, though, for a situation where I mean, the gunman could have come looking for Libby and he just outed her. Oh, yes. I didn't see any hoopla about that. Y'all see the duplicity? I didn't want to make a fuss, she says on here. I didn't want to make a fuss at the time, but was saddened that a WIC member could do that. Oh, you don't want to make a fuss that you make a comment about a gunman on 7 Mile Beach, right? Who could have paid you a visit after seeing your post in the Compass, but I guess nobody's reading the Compass. Not even the gunman. Never mind. That's why you didn't make a fuss about it. I get it, Libby. But CMR posts something and y'all got to make a fuss from here to East End to North Side and all the way back to West Bay. Y'all making a fuss and barking at the wrong friggin' tree. Let's read some of your comments. 936-2626. Those of you listening to all these shenanigans this morning, what are your thoughts on this? Magdalene says, oh, right. Let's go back a little bit. Let me see here. Aliana says, this is immediate to an underlying problem caused by incompetent government oversight to see how a population is so off balance with a ratio that favor a rich affluent class versus the poor locals. Y'all keep telling locals that they don't have a voice in this community. Y'all gonna see something. If you don't have an idea of how important an outlet like this is, you don't have to like it. Somebody else commented about how they had which one was that? She had unfollowed or unliked CMR page. I was like, girl, please. You did me a favor. And I actually went and commented on her thing and said, thank you. You unfollowed us? Fantastic. Thank you so much. Because you don't have a clue about what CMR is all about. And it's not like y'all are here to add any content to CMR. You only want to comment when we out the stapler thief just because he's white and Canadian. All of a sudden, y'all up in arms like, oh, you know, he might have had he might have mental health issues why he stole a stapler. Maybe you should be sensitive to his needs. He's nobody special. He doesn't get any more or less treatment than a Miss Cayman. Everybody gets treated the exact same way. And that's what y'all fail to understand. I don't care who you are, and I don't care where you're from. We report with a degree of impartiality as much as we possibly can. Magdalene says that there's some MP. She trusts that some MPs are listening this morning and see the way Caymanians feel. This is exactly the problem. Y'all are not listening. Stephen Covey said many moons ago, he's dead now. His son has taken over the business. He said that you need to listen. Active listening is where you seek to first understand before you're understood. So in other words, when you're having a conversation, try to understand the other person's perspective and what it is that they are saying. You all do not have a clue. Caymanians sit in that women's group every day and they are marginalized and they feel a particular way. And most of them simply do not speak up. I know because they tell me all the time. They're screenshotting the post, they're sending it to me, they're expressing themselves. So whilst I appreciate the administrator reaching out, asking me for an explanation, you will get none because I don't owe you any explanation. Capiche? My loyalty are to the people of the Cayman Islands, which for the record does include expats and everybody else. You know what is so funny? The first person to have sent this post yesterday is a young mother married to a Caymanian guy from one of our beautiful districts, originally from Canada, who has come here and chosen to make this her home, loves the environment, loves the Caymanian people, and she seeks first to understand and then be understood. Y'all can't understand because you live in this proverbial bubble of your private tennis lessons, your private schools. And listen to me, I'm all about it. Let's play pickleball, let's play tennis, but who you playing with? You don't even have any Caymanian friends, right? The 1-2 that you might want to talk to, they don't represent the average person in this country. Y'all don't have a clue. Y'all need some diversification in your life. You need to get out there and get a little bit of exposure about what is happening in this community. And you don't want to. You don't care to do so. You want to come here and change our history, change our narrative, take over everything, and be like, oh, well, I'm the one who started the garden club. No, you didn't. The garden club was started by Don Seymour's mommy, a Black Caymanian from Georgetown. Y'all can rewrite history all you want, but there's some of us who know the truth. Morning, Soka. Soka says they need to chill. They left their country to find a job, a better life, and want to tell us how to run Cayman. Yes, honey, chill. Miss Debbie Broderick in the house. She says, now, Sandra, I must say that I'm totally with you this morning. Well, child, it's about time you got with the program. Not all expats are alike, but these sorts of people who believe we should have duct tape in our mouths like that, like what that teacher did, need to understand that will not happen. And better get used to us speaking out because there's more to come. It's called freedom of speech. Well, apparently we live in a world where you're not entitled to freedom of speech, especially if it goes against the green, because then they're going to try to gaslight you. How sad is that? Jonathan says they have us outnumbered almost 1-to-1 in voters, so give it a little bit of time and they will soon run the show. Well, no, not gonna be this show. Maybe some other show. Lavana says what gets me is that what they do here, they can't do in their own country. Miss Charlene says, preach, preach, the nerve and feisty remarks and comments. Sometimes I feel like they really need a good backhand slap. So disrespectful. Who do they think they are, though? Well, you know, they're the QCs of the Cayman Islands, my dear child. Back in the UK, they probably would have never even gotten a QC designation. And for the record, I like Ben Toner, and I think he is a fabulous attorney. And I've recommended a lot of people to him, honey child, because he does get results. But the point remains that the little field here is so small, and y'all are rewarded with QCs and MPs and MEs and OMBs and SIRs and all kind of stuff a lot easier than you would ever see if you were back home in the UK or wherever the hell you're coming from. Don't take insult to that. That is simply the truth. Miss Ann says, check out the thrift shops. They have a lot of wonderful things if you're on a budget. Emma says, struggling mentally and having a mental condition are two different things. We all struggle mentally at times. Please don't think that that's the same thing as living with mental illness. So does she have mental problems, or is she just have mental struggle for her to deal with her situation? I mean, we don't know. No clue, Emma. I mean, there's certainly not enough information there. I think the point why the person was asking the question about her mental health is it is difficult. Like, again, I speak from personal experience. When your entire life is picked up and you move somewhere else, you got to have a reality check about what it is that you're doing. That's why a lot of people come here. They're not prepared for what is here and what they're going to experience. And unfortunately, they do end up self-harming while they're here. I think we have more expats committing suicide in Cayman than we do Caymanians. Go, ESO must have those results somewhere about. Go check them. And why is that? Because Cayman, not an easy place. It's not a paradise, even for a lot of expats. But y'all not getting the memo. Miss Donna says that teacher with the duct tape, I'm sure she never taped that right kid, completely out of order. Miss Ann says, damn right, we allow it. That's why they get away with all the BS. Juanita says this girl is on fire this morning. Someone pull her, what is that symbol? Her ear. Happy Friday, Sandy, in the Cayman Islands. Stay safe, everyone. The roads are wet. Oh, yes, I was looking out the window earlier. It looks like we're going to have a wet Friday. Renee, thank you. Says, I think the fact that she has a right to work, either of the RERCs, so that she's entitled to ask, what exactly are we raging on? Mental health is serious, but many don't allow it to stop them from living. Whoever sent that is cold, can't be Caymankind, and they ask questions to be fast. Okay. Renee says, no, if she's married to a Caymanian, she could be overseas. Many go away to get married and then apply for their RERC. The affidavit is to state how long you've been married, not how long they lived. Well, you also have to, in the affidavit, you're supposed to actually demonstrate that you are a couple living in a bona fide relationship. And I'm telling you, I don't know what's changed since I did mine well over 7 years ago, but they were asking and they wanted things in there about your living arrangements. But like I said, I didn't jump to any conclusions when the person sent it to me. I'm like, what does she mean by rights to work? I mean, I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. So I didn't assume anything. I didn't assume that she was married to Caymanian, that she wasn't. As you can see, once again, from my response, I actually asked questions because I'm like, that statement doesn't entirely make sense to me. I'm not understanding what she means by right to work. Miss Vernita, good morning. She says, Miss Sandy, tell them some people think all Caymanians are stupid until they buck up on the right one. And on a weak, selfish Caymanians, you better be glad I got someone to speak up for you. Miss Darlene from the UK says, Sandy, and all on here, please believe that the immigration law is not for all of us. Dodgy things happens, I feel, just saying. Soka said, well, if she's married to Caymanian, looks like she married one without a job. And God knows that wouldn't be unheard of either, because trying to get the Cayman and marry anything. But it really does sound like somebody who's relocating here. I mean, once again, we can only think and make assumptions, but if she's relocating here and she's married to a Caymanian, is this a man who doesn't even have a place of his own? Who doesn't even have a little spatula for the poor woman to come and cook? You don't get the feeling that she's coming here to a spouse or someone who is going to be there for her, both mentally and financially. Debbie believes what I think is more the likely case is that she's simply using the wrong term, hence the reason why people are confused. Morning, Carmelie. Soka says, we don't need any more imported poverty and you can't arrive without an approved permit. And that's the other thing. Let me say something about this concept of imported poverty. Because y'all seem to, once again, get insulted when we use that term, but that's because it's applying to some of y'all, I know. Here's the thing. Do you know that when I went to live as a 8-9-year-old in the US, that my aunt had to, as part of the application process for me to have a student visa in the United States of America, she had to show that she had the financial means to support me. And that included bank statements, statements of assets and liabilities and everything else, credit score rating and the work. Because the U.S. not trying to import a student on a student visa whose aunt doesn't have a house, doesn't have utensils, doesn't have a toaster, can't take care of her, can't feed this child. She's going to be out in the wild, out in the wilderness, coming to apply to their social services. They weren't looking for that. If my aunt was there on social services assistance, I'm pretty sure they would have turned down that application. And you know what? Good for them. There has to be some criteria in place. Rena says, I totally agree. They're not Cayman-kind to us because they have no respect for us. And here's another thing. Morning, Erica. In that group, y'all are so clueless that you don't even recognize, and this is something I get complaints about all the time with that group, is that if a person who is relocating, who you get a sense that they're coming from certain types of countries, and AKA they're not a Caymanian. Let me just break it down as simple as I can. They get a very different response for help. When Caymanians ask for help in the group, they don't get any comments on their post. I'm just telling y'all what Caymanians say to me. Like I said, I'm not an active member of that group, but I have Caymanians saying this to me all the time. They're like, we see the disparity between an expat asking for help. They even had one woman, they sent that to me the other day, looking to fundraise and let's have tea and crumpets at the Ritz as a fundraiser for some woman who can't pay her private school tuition. And the Caymanians were like, Can we get some of this? I'm struggling to pay my private school tuition, Sandy. Will somebody have a fundraiser, $150 per ticket to come and have high tea at the Ritz-Carlton? I was like, oh, Lord Jesus. Catherine Wells, there's a lot that doesn't get posted on CMR, believe me. Because all I would be doing is posting shit from your women's group in Cayman. That is highly insulting to Caymanians. So you see one post and you assume, and you know what they say when you make an assumption. You assume that we posting everything. Child, please go take several seats. And I'm sorry that some of you are so hypersensitive to every single thing in the world. Soka says, Caymankind is what got us in this mess we're in. We need some Cayman spine. Oh, I like that. I think I'm going to make that into hashtag Soka. Hashtag Cayman spine. Grow some backbone. She says, I hate the catchphrase, as many Caymanians do. Aliano asked the question, how can there be Caymankind if there's no Caymanians in the front of the industry that is paramount to the country? Melita says, can we get an amen up in here? Oh, hold on. Let me give y'all an amen. Hold on now. Let me see now. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
Yes, ma'am. Amen. Miss Bonnie says, taught the things. We're outnumbered by some of the most ungrateful people in the world. You can say that again. Ungratefulness indeed. Miss Renita says, we need more love and unity because one hand can't clap. They mean, Cayman, we are too kind to some ungratefulness. And when people can't walk over us, they feel like, yeah, they apparently feel away. Amen, says Soka. Darlene says, you're correct about moving to a new country. Soka says, LMAO, cheap and Cayman doesn't hold hands. You got that right. And y'all need a reality check about what you're coming here and see. Renee says, can't believe cats and dogs get more love than humans, especially humans who are vulnerable. Jonathan says, I always tell my friends that come here for a visit to make sure they pack a bag of money before they come. Bring your snacks too, child, because I be seeing them posting about, oh, I'm coming to the Cayman Islands for a visit, but we don't want to spend any money at your grocery stores there. What snacks shall I pack? It's bring your Cheetos, bring your crackers and cheese. It's like, Jesus Christ. Moya says, we keep saying it over and over again. The immigration law needs some serious amendments and more teeth. One thing we can say about America is that their immigration laws are no joke. Mr. Politician Man, please ensure on your next agenda for the LA, it includes addressing our failing immigration laws. There needs to be clauses like the US for right to deportation if convicted of a crime. They will deport you from the US regardless of family life. Our borders need a good washout. We have people here, and unfortunately, the rest got cut off. What is the group called? It's called Women in Cayman. They won't let you in if you're a man, Jonathan. Sandra says, yeah, we import the worst of poverty, and they will even work for $1 an hour, and Caymanians refuse to work. They're branded as lazy. And just to be very, very clear, not everybody who comes to the Cayman Islands is poor. Some of them come with money and they're rich and they're still rude the same way. So I don't want this to be, there were questions about that particular post and what we're importing there, but I don't want people to think that even some of the people that we're importing in the quote unquote poverty category are the ones who are the sole problem or the only problem, or a lot of times even the majority of problems. El Rey says, yep, these people are here living their best lives in their socialite bubbles, looking down on Caymanians like they're so much better than us. Y'all need to listen to this very, very carefully. Right? If you are hearing this and you're not understanding what I'm trying to say about why a lot of Caymanians are feeling disenfranchised, you need a bit of a reality check. Soka says foreigners living their best lives in Cayman. Yep. Suzette says every day, tired of it. Mark says, Sandy, 8.2 thousand people. That's a cult. Listen, the group is useful if you're looking for certain things. You can post a question, and if you're a foreign national, you're more likely to get a response. But they'll respond to stuff. Magdalene says, stay tuned. The committee has been formed and will roll out suggested amendments soon. Would suggest you stay tuned, make your voice be heard. And immigration changes. Well, we're looking forward to it. Sandra says that our leaders to be blamed. They need the permit fee to run the government. Janetta says, no, sir. Stacy says, bang a rain. That's what you call a read, CMR. Well, I hope that they're understanding the message this morning. Because if I'm flapping my lips this morning and you're missing all this, something is wrong. Atlas says, tell them karma is your cousin. Charlene said that most don't know what a good life is until they come here. Worse yet, they all get up in their feelings and attitude when Caymanians confront them and tell them the truth. And I'll tell you what, even for some of these so-called lawyers and stuff, right? If they were back in the UK, they're just but one of like 1,000 people in a single firm. And nobody not paying them no mind. They'll never become partner. And they're not becoming an equity partner. And they're not going to be rolling in the dough. So the opportunities that Cayman has afforded them, they should be most thankful for. Bonnie says we'll never be the same after 2003 status grants. Plus, allegedly, the status is sold at Paradise Bar and Restaurant happy hours. What a mess. So Atlas says, yeah, but Karma was spelled correctly. Soka says, yes, Sandra, tell them about their bad spelling and grammar. Well, the Soka's in the house. Ay. What a mess. Shannon says, every woman that lands here from a country that I will not name ends up staying here forever. They either get knocked up for Caymanian or they marry the paper Caymanian men and women. A few generational Caymanian men, once they touch down, they are never going home to the cold. They're networking with all the right people to stay their asses right here, and they're never going back home to their own country. Lord Jesus. Good morning, James, watching from Canada. Sandra says Cayman is gone. It can't come back. Developers gone with it. I don't think anything at this point is too far gone, and that's why we need to be having these conversations. The sad thing about it is without these conversations, all you're going to do is allow situations to fester. And this is what I don't even get about these people. It's like they don't have the intellectual capacity, despite them thinking that they're experts with everything. They don't have the intellectual capacity to understand that if people don't have an outlet, even as they do on CMR where they can express themselves, what do you think is going to be the outcome for trying to silence natives in their own country? Y'all need to take a look around at other countries and see what the outcome is. And it's not a pretty sight. Soka says, walking dogs for PR. I honestly don't know why they were doing it. Go Cayman, walk a dog, get PR, no sir. El Ray says, it's Ye, not Kanye. Oh, yes, he's formally changed his name. What a mess. Who the cap fit? Says El Ray.
Cap.
Immigration here, not asking for no bank statements, child. Please. Unbelievable. Nope, and nope. Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
How are you? I'm trying to get through some of the comments, child. There's so many comments.
Listen to me now. You don't even have to listen. I can just talk. You know that the teacher should have taped up your mouth from yesterday. It might still be for this morning. The people who want to eject you from a group, the only group they cannot touch is that you are a Caymanian, generational Caymanian, big, strong Caymanian names. And you can't take that from. That's the group that that they want to get in, that you born with rights and privileges. That
yes, honey child.
Take those rights and privileges seriously. And that's why some people can't stand people like you, because you take those rights and privileges that you were born with. And when I hear you speak of the US where you grew up, I don't hear you speak with any disrespect. None at all. And it's the disrespect factor. And to be Caymankind is, I can use it, I hate to use it, it's to be Cayman stupid for these people. That they can railroad you, they can scoot their SH on you, they can tell you, they can titter at you, they can put you in a corner. Queen Elizabeth died, sadly for me, because I loved her, a couple of weeks ago. And none of them is Queen Consort.
Not that I can see.
And I don't know where they're going with it.
Say what Miss Rena says. She says exactly why I came out of that group, Sandra. There's a lot of people who've actually left the group because, like I said, I can't remember exactly when this thing blew up about why are they even called the real women of Cayman and what do they mean by that? Because that was an insult to Caymanians, quite frankly. Then they're like, oh, we can't take the stress of this group. I don't want to be administrator anymore. And some of them actually remove themselves as group administrators and then they change a name. But a name change has been completely meaningless.
It's called rebranding.
For people who just don't have a clue.
It's called rebranding, but they lack respect.
Yes.
And I know they couldn't go to yard with that story.
Yep.
The story that they couldn't go to the United States with that story.
Ms. Debbie says, my comments have been deleted on more than one occasion with my scathing replies to this entitled group of women.
The reason why I am not an American citizen is I couldn't see myself sitting down in a country 10, 15, after 15 years. I got to understand by word of mouth. You would sit down there and wait for your turn. And I didn't want to sit anywhere that quiet, that long, and be quiet. So I am not an American. I could have gone. I could have gone. I actually had invites. I could have gone. But I wasn't going to sit down and be quiet that long. And it's not that I would be insulting the people, but I obviously I have an opinion. And, I would like to share, but in a more positive way. But these people, and I'm not trying to kill anybody, or as I like to say, cut anybody's knees out from under them. But it is like they want to live. They wanted to have been alive long time ago when slavery was still legal, because we still experience slavery and the effects from slavery and the policies of slavery still live by. But it is racism. When my white Caymanian friends speak to these people, but they treat them kind of like the same way, but there's a little up. It is racism when they can detect blackness, outright blackness in you, though they have us all under the same umbrella. I told one of my kids that on Monday morning. Try to remember that it know no difference to you, with you and them, and me and them. But they would rather be in the company of somebody with the right pigmentation. And that is all it's about, because they never come from nowhere where they could get the private tennis lessons and the private school. They would not have been here if they had that kind of economy. They come here, and because of the network of foreign nationals of any color, but predominantly the white people, they can live those lifestyles. They got somebody come clean up their mess in their home. They got gardener, they got this, they got that. Some of them come here, and nowadays, Caymanians seeing the light. Some of them come here, and little Caymanian high school leavers or graduates got to teach them what to do in corporate Cayman, in the accounting firms and the law firms and so on and so forth. They're learning lessons now. But ladies and gentlemen, I grew up with foreign nationals.
Yes.
Foreign nationals to put food on our tables in the broad sense with employment. But foreign nationals put food on my table a foreign national put food on my table, that we didn't go hungry.
But I'm pretty sure at the same time, they weren't putting food on your table and sacrificing, not putting food on their own table. So to be very clear,
No,
everybody is doing their little part, their little thing.
What the message I would like to get across to them is foreign nationals helped us. We appreciated it. We appreciated it. And to be honest, how Caymanians not caught up in this country really wasn't because of the foreign nationals in my day, because they did provide you with a little employment. It might have been cleaning your house, but you were employed. It might have been raking up the yard, but you were employed. It might have been babysitting, but you were employed. So I still think that we lived a lot better with the foreign nationals of yore than we live with these people coming and looking their Hollywood forever life, because that's all it is about. And you put people through angst, and it's not fair. And that's why I call for immigration reform long time ago. Every now and again, we need immigration reform. And when I get on the immigration reform, which is where I need to go before I go to the next election, I'll tell you that. And I need to call me because I don't know who I am. Let's put the Cayman phrase. I don't know who I is. And I know who I is. I got 3 salient questions for you to dock on that immigration form. And I'll escape them. But they need to answer these 3 questions. Because if you don't want to be here, please don't come. A man I respect a lot always say on the air, Cayman is not for everybody, and everybody is not Cayman. And he didn't invent that phrase. I used to hear it in the 1950s.
Yep.
Don't come here causing any angst. This is not your territory. This is not a fiefdom. Don't come here. You're not a queen. You're not a king. Don't come here if you can't live among us. And usually you people set the rules. So you are living by my rules. But the rules of dignity, I will have. You're on my turf and you don't have to be here.
Yep.
Please go. It is 8.5. If you come here and you can't live among us, it is 8.5 billion people registered in the world. In my mind, since COVID, they need to relook at that, but it's still plenty. And when one go, 8.5 can come. They don't need to be putting Caymanians through this with your snootiness and your hootiness. My dear child, if you were anybody, you would be in your own country. I ain't nobody, and I am in my country. I don't want to go any place, and I ain't nobody. I ain't got nothing either. Very, very, very poor.
Soka sending you a good morning greeting, by the way. Soka says good morning.
Tell her I wasn't going to close with her this morning. Good morning, ma'am. That's all I say, and I'm gone. Have a nice day.
Thank you, my dear. Lots of messages. I was trying to go through some of them. JD says, I can send you the screenshot, but imagine this expat admin of a Cayman group got offended when I corrected another expat about calling us the Caymans, Caymens, as if I can't demand respect on our name. Oh, God. They did not get the memo that there's no such thing as privacy in a group, even if it is a closed group. That's not what the closed part means. And y'all can make up your rules all you want, but clearly the most important rule y'all should be trying to implement is learning a thing or two about what it means to actually live in the Cayman Islands, expose yourself to some Caymanians, and get a clue. All 8.5 thousand of you who are in that group and woefully clueless. Get with the program. You live in the Cayman Islands. You're no longer wherever you're from. So, you know, we have been very kind-hearted people. But any water will run dry. The well is going to run dry at some point in time. And Caymanians are getting fed up. They're getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. Charlene says, hallelujah, call, appreciate Miss C. Aquina says, I love old Caymanians. Talk truth, says Miss Melita. Carlene is their match, says Cameron. And like I said, there's really no need for y'all to get insulted. This is just telling you the cold hard truth. But you're not able to accept the cold hard truth or even entertain it or listen to it because, like I said, you've been living in this bubble for far too long. Natasha says, these are the same women when something goes missing, suddenly CMR and its followers are their friends. Touche, touche. Point taken. Cameron says the group has 8,000 CMR reporters. Good luck removing them. That's the funny thing about it, really, is who are you going to remove? You remove me and so what? Nothing's going to change. Perla says that's a huge mistake to ask Andrew Hill to remove a post. If you don't like the truth, remove yourself. Cayman had a lot of cover-ups for years. Here at CMR, we are the cold hard truth without mercy. It's unfortunate, really, that people want everything to be sugar-coated in life, you know, because the realities in the real world is very little is sugar-coated. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't be tender and show kindness, whatever, but some of y'all just need a dose of the cold hard truth. You get too much tenderness and kindness in your life that when somebody tells you the cold hard truth, it's like a shock to your system, like, zzz, you can't take it. Poppy says we're not laid back and walk all over us Caymanians any longer. We're Cayman speaker mind, hell with Cayman kind. I like that one. Cayman spined and Cayman speaker mind. Yes, Miss Eloise started the garden club, but there's some other people of English descent who want to claim that they started the garden club. Child, please. Miss Eloise, I need to come and interview you, by the way, for my Cayman Voices segment. Thank you very much. And you know what is so funny? When I met Miss Eloise one day at the Smith Marketeer, she was there with her gardening gloves on, everything. I started talking to her. Here's a woman who I'm like, oh my God, I have to interview. Oh, no. I don't like to pat myself in the back. And I was like, woman, with all due respect, it's people like you who have helped to build the Cayman Islands. We need to hear your stories. This isn't about, patting yourself in the back. Caymanians don't even want to give themselves credit when they should be giving themselves credit. That's the kind of people that we are. It's just so incredibly amazing. Miss Charlene says a lot got selective memory. Even some of her own Caymanians think others are not aware of their story. Child. Speaking of which, yesterday, is Miss Andine on here this morning? I know she said she didn't have much credit left in her phone, poor thing. She was saying to me yesterday, oh, Miss Sandra, you should just leave this alone now because when people say must keep this confidential, do you mean you don't want me to read it? So hold on, don't read it. I'm confused. Or just keep your identity confidential. All right. So she said to me, oh, I see somebody commented about how you put a camera in your ex-boyfriend's apartment or place. And I was like, excuse me. I said, Andy, really? And if I had done that, why wouldn't I have been arrested for such an offense? Because that's a criminal offense. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't see the comments. I don't know who supposedly said this or where they said it. But, making up lies on me about something I allegedly did to try to silence me will do you zero good. I don't care. First of all, I didn't do it, so I thought it was funny. If I had done it, I hope that I would have been charged and there were some consequences for my action. But at the end of the day, if I had done such a crazy thing, let's just assume that I had, for the sake of argument, what does that have to do with my ability to speak out or to Not even speak out, because I share things that are not even necessarily my opinion, but to share what other people are sending me and the questions that they have. Which of y'all are without fault? I'm like, I don't understand what that means. I don't understand how that is supposed to shut me up. Make up stuff on me. And that's not going to help you. Doesn't help you to spread lies. And in fact, it says way more about you than it does about me. So you have to make up a fake narrative that I hid cameras in some ex-boyfriend's house. Maybe I need to learn those skills, but I don't even have those skills. The level of pettiness. And then they wonder why there's so many social issues there, says Aquina. Perla says, I'm glad I never joined that women's group. It's probably too girly and too childish. Too many imported expats treating Caymanians like crap. Time some of these work permit holders are sent back home, they have no respect for us or our country. Johan is in the house. He's trying to be a man of reason this morning. He says, how many of this sort of discussion is based on confusion, tension, and misunderstanding, which all can be attributed in part to lack of mutual respect, lack of proper integration, etc. By the way, nobody should have their personal issues, e.g. mental health issues, discussed in public platforms or social media. That's a question mark. Nobody should have their personal issues. That's a question or that's a statement? Well, a couple of things here, Johan. You're absolutely right. It is based on lack of mutual respect, lack of proper integration, et cetera, et cetera. And I have even said on this program that as Caymanians, we have a responsibility to likewise integrate as well. Because a lot of us don't want to integrate. And when we go into a place and we see too many foreign nationals, we feel uncomfortable, like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to be here. This is your country, honey child. You're supposed to be there. Make it your own. Own it. Go to the galas. Add a little bit of diversity. Join the women's group so they can see that there's actually Caymanians that live in this country. I'm all about inclusion and diversity. But the concept of mutual respect seems to be lost on some of you because you believe that respect is a one-way street, that you can demand it from the dear locals and you don't have to give it. And a lot of you don't even know when you're being disrespectful. You don't have a clue. You don't integrate with people from here. You're just clueless. Jessica says that application, the RERC application, also asks if you're financially stable to support your family and you won't be a liability in this country. She goes on to say that rights to work is when you're married to Caymanian and allows you to work without a work permit. Again, I don't get the sense that this person is married to Caymanian. I don't even get the sense that this person's married at all, to be quite frank and honest. I think when they said right to work, what they actually meant was just a work permit, but they're waiting on the right to be able to work. Not right to work as in the name of what it actually is. And I think that is where some of the interpretations, obviously we don't know for sure. And to be very, very clear, whoever this person is, they'd only said group member. They were never named. So it could be any of the 8.5 thousand people in that group. We don't even know who it is. Marshall says expats take the Cayman content too loosely, and they think that Cayman people are fools and that they take some of them for fools. And for some expats, Cayman is paradise considering where some of them are coming from. Magdalene says, I'm reminded of what I recently was told that the late Jim Bodden said, Cayman is not for everyone. And I would like to reverse that, as Charlene just said, and everyone is not for Cayman either. And do we not have a right to set the standard for what we want in this country? Rachel, good morning. Rachel says, Johan, I think that the term mental health has been taken out of context on both sides. Mental health is one of those topics right up there with politics and religion of conversation topics to avoid if you aren't familiar with the topic. Alicia says, I'm an expat, moved to the Cayman Islands over 16 years ago. I appreciate the opportunity that was given to me in the Cayman Islands, but we expats need to be fair to Caymanians. because in my country, no expat can come in that easy and treat people like if they're from another, treat people if they are from another country and treat people like if, yeah. Cayman is the only country in the world I find immigration is so easy to enter. That's saying a lot. Gabby says, so true. As soon as a Caymanian opened their mouth, all you can hear is we hate expats and we love, discriminate, this and that. And we are so hateful. Shaking my head. Morning, Tracy. Tracy says, I came from New Zealand and all my friends were Caymanians, not foreigners. Same with my parents. There's a level of integration that is really missing in this country. That's for sure. Amanda says, been here 9 years, not going to go for PR as this was never my country, but have enjoyed living here and working here, going back to the UK, whatever that will be when I return, whenever I think that will be. Cayman is a great country, but not mine. JD says, I guess send you the screenshot, but imagine this expat admin of a Cayman group got offended when I corrected another expat about calling us. Oh yeah, I read that one already. Well, what a hot mess. Jessica says, I can't deal with you, Sandy. Make my day. Hello. Good morning. Thanks to CMR, Caymanians have a voice, says Debbie. A lot of people don't like that, honey child. Let me tell you. They'll be writing DMS after this. You see, Don Seymour, and we're not sure. You're the billionaire man now. We're not sure that we can have Miss Sandy causing social unrest on the radio station, although she's paying for the time. That's just not right. Sandra says, mark my word, this tiny island would become another South Africa with discrimination like apartheid. What a mess. We hope not. We surely hope not. Karina says, I'm not assimilating into their culture. They need to assimilate into mine. No, I mean, you come here, you find what you come. You find what you come to. I absolutely agree with that. But I think that as Caymanians, we've got to be willing to invite people in a little bit. Because sometimes we can be closed-minded. I'm going to tell you all the truth now. And some of you don't want to have any expat friends. So when they might try to, extend an olive branch and say, oh, would you like to go out with me drinking? Maybe that's not your thing, but you say, well, why don't we just go have a little bite to eat or something? I don't really drink. You can drink, but I'll sit down with you. I think you have to be willing. You have to be willing to give and take. Yes. But no, I absolutely agree with you is when you come into room, how you find room is how you find room. Kaboom. Charlene says that needs a kaboom. Alicia says we need to go back to our country. If you're not happy in Cayman, why complain about Cayman when you are in Caymanian space? Well, I personally don't get it. Karen says watching the show, but I have to stay silent today as I would upset so many people if I was to voice my opinions on the various topics. Okay. Miss Valerie Mirage says, I came here over 40 years ago, fell in love with the people and the country, and some of my best friends are Caymanians. I hate to see Caymanians taken advantage of. And you know what is so incredibly interesting, Miss Valerie? A lot of people have come here. When they get status, I was speaking to a Jamaican lady a couple months ago. I saw her. I hadn't seen her in many, many years. She used to work with me at Maples. And she said, Sandy, I got Cayman status, and it's only now that I'm having a hard time finding a job. When I was in a work permit, I never had an issue getting a job. I said, welcome to being a Caymanian. Good morning. Aquina says, I just hope that they don't make the mistake of removing the Caymanian women under the guise of being CMR journalists, because then their prejudice will really be showing. Well, I don't even know what they mean by CMR journalists. I'm the only one. Just remove me and be done with it. I don't care. Like I said, y'all not going to be hurting my feelings. It's all right. Go ahead and remove me. There will still be people sending it to me, so it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Y'all are not going to get your way, and I know that upsets a lot of you, but you'll survive, honey chow. Sandra says, no government will reform any laws on our behalf. Our government is bought out. I guess they don't sleep well. They're out drinking themselves to death to drown their wickedness. Oh, Lord. Erica says, me too. The generations after the older Caymanians need to be just like them, not afraid to speak out and when it matters. Good morning, Miss Bonnie. She says Caymanians are fed up. Very few means Caymanians any good. Yasmin says, Sandy, wonder if these fools know that we used to trade with Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras. They don't know nothing about our history. That is part of the problem. Miss Charlene is saying to Miss Carlene, she said, no, Miss Charlene is saying to the other Miss Charlene that she's always been a straight shooter, love her to death. Judy says, I love the caller. I ain't nobody, but I live in my country. You're nobody, but you have to live in my country. So true. Miss Charlene, right on point. What a mess, I tell you. Let's go to some of the WhatsApp comments because they're coming in as well. All right. So someone says, let me finish that statement. Cayman immigration is easy to enter for certain people. And then they put in bracket, white. Lord have mercy. This person says, so sad. We have enough of our own with mental health issues. So we're importing people to further bleed our limited resources. Sorry, not sorry. They all need to pack up and go home to the hole that they came from. What's frustrating is working with work permit holders and they figure out that they have, what is this, run clue or no clue what they're doing. And they can barely write proper English, and we hire our unqualified own and train them. No clue. Okay. Tell Jonathan we are CMR soldiers, not reporters. Get it right. Okay. This person says, what? Where is that kaboom button? Exactly. Want to be big fish in a small pond. And it's our Caymanians sometimes who gaslight us into shutting up about bringing these issues, bring up issues about expats. What's the name of that Facebook group? Excellent point about what happens when you silence locals. I was just about to write you and tell you that. I need slither kaboom. Kaboom! Oh, another kaboom, sorry. I think they call themselves the Real Women of Cayman because they were probably borrowing it from the Real Housewives franchise. Like the Real Housewives. Oh, okay. Don't know. But again, the fact that they wouldn't even see the additional meaning of that and how a Caymanian woman would be like, what do you mean by the Real Women of Cayman?
Yeah, morning.
Morning, good sir. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I just got a couple of things to say about what you're discussing this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, some of those groups that you see there, they're being used as lobby groups, you know, to lobby the government and things. I've been checking these groups out too. See, they're coming in like they want to be movers and shakers. And if there's a lot of foreign nationals onto it, even though some of them aren't Caymanians, you know, or some paper Caymanians, and some of them are just people on permits or whatever, they still want to give their input, or the administrations of some of those groups want to give their input to act as lobby groups and lobby the government and twist the government into doing their will. You know, that's just what's happening. And this situation not gonna get better until we get a real pro-Caymanian government inside where it gotta be. So what a woman did, that should be a crime. She shouldn't come on to say that it shouldn't, that she need mental health and think of, first of all, if she needs mental health, you rightfully said she shouldn't even be allowed or given a permit or whatever it is to come in to work. If she's married, well, then she should have a spouse taking care of her in the right way. So she shouldn't even have come on to mention that and onto the group in the first place. You know, that's all I got to say this morning about that situation.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, my love. All right. Someone says every last one of them need to go back to where they came from, back to the country that they were less than nothing in. They came here and feel and act like they're relevant and so above everything else. They need to be put in a couple 40-foot containers and set out to sea. If there were a real indigenous Caymanian in that group, it would be called prejudice. Huh. What someone said? I saw this in the paper saying a new school is opening. So somebody from area code 786 is messaging me saying, good morning. How are you doing? I'm interested in a job at your new school as a cleaner. I was like, what new school? What are you talking about? CMR don't have no school, honey child. Okay. What the hell? Everybody want to come here, boy. Let me tell you something, TD. This might not be the place for you. Y'all need to seriously start to consider if you really want to come to the Cayman Islands. It ain't for everybody. It is one of the most expensive places in the world. What are you coming here for a cleaner for? You're more likely to be better off at home, honey child. This is what I'm getting this morning as a cleaner. My God. Everybody want to come. The dog, the cat, everybody. Lord Jesus. They were blowing up my phone this morning because they won't come here as a cleaner. No, sir. Ay. Other comment says some of them have never had, they're a bunch of racist bigots who use Caymankind as carte blanche to come to do and say whatever the hell they please. Some of them have never had such a good life. Everything they've ever achieved is on the backs and sweats of Caymanians, and they can go eat cow. Oh, crow. I was going to say cow. What are we giving them the beef for? Oh, my God. What a hot mess. All right. More WhatsApp comments. Let me see here now. Oh, my jeans on piece. This person says Chris Saunders needs to provide some answers. I'm okay with not importing poverty, but we need to equally limit those taking mid-level management jobs and holding Caymanians down while helping to import their friends. Can't post it on Facebook because of work. Civil servants, poor them. So I have to say it anonymously, but I 100% agree. Neocolonialism is alive and well, and in fact is thriving in the Cayman Islands. And can I tell you, so many civil servants. We'd have double the numbers this morning, but they're scared to speak out because, y'all know. Someone says, how the hell can there be an expectation of privacy when you post this S on Facebook? The woman put her business out there. WTF do they expect? Child, I don't know. I can't explain it. I've got somebody else from the UK calling me this morning. What is this? Call a CMR day from the UK? Lord Jesus, let me answer this. I'm actually going to put him. Y'all want to hear this? Good morning, Sandra speaking.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, love. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's me calling from the UK.
Yes, from the UK. What's going on? Oh, bad connection. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Oh, gosh. I think we might have to try again. Hello? Anyway, he's calling from the UK. He's always calling me trying to get news. Imagine people in the UK calling poor CMR for news, and yet y'all little salty people want to sit here talking about, oh, CMR, not nobody. Yes, we're nobody, honey. But we still got people in the UK calling us for news. Take that. Morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. It's a rainy morning Serena morning. I guess it's all over the island.
Just 1 second for me. This is the guy from the UK calling, looking for news. Hold on.
Whoa.
Morning. Hello, can you hear me? Bad connection this morning. Hello.
Hello. No, can I speak now?
Yeah, because I can't hear him, so I'll have to call. I don't know what kind of news he's looking for, child, but anyway.
He looking for news? No,
Yeah.
he probably looking for a job. But honest to God, Sandra.
Well, he tried that already, and I told him I can't help him. So he just occasionally calls me for news.
Okay. Well, honest to God, Sandra, some of us, not all of us, Caymanians, especially in law firms and in accounting firms and other firms, can be working as an attorney for that law firm for, let's say, 10 years, 15 years, and we can't get ahead. It's still in the same job. Now we get them from the UK or South Africa or somewhere about there. 3 years, they got a $2 million house, expensive cars that they never, because they don't get salaries. If they had been working like us, that in Cayman, if they had been working like us, they don't get the kind of salaries in the UK or anywhere else like they get here. But we don't seem to move ahead in these law firms. When immigration, which seldom happens, and it can be in the UK for 3 years, and then all of a sudden they come down here and they're in there is a partner there, and then they get their expensive homes. That is one thing I do not understand. I do not understand that. And Sandra and anybody else, especially you, with knowing the law and got a law degree, you know that you work for a law firm. So was my son, and he would never make partner there because they didn't want people like him to move up, and they come with a 3 year of working in the UK or South Africa, and they make partner. And boy, not because of my son, it hurts me for all Caymanians. When they take too many from these areas, then they may, that law firm may put a Caymanian as a partner, but a very junior one.
Well, it's not going to be an equity partner. They're going to put them as a partner where they buy into the partnership. So let's make sure we understand the difference.
Yes, exactly. You said it, Sandra. I was going to get to that, but you said it, so I thank you very much. Now, can I speak one little bit on a different subject, and this is the mental subject. I know about that. I'm not qualified. I'm only trying my best. I have a mental cousin, and I have a huge family. I'm not going to deny that, because sometimes I have to sit down and cry to know that I'm retired. My husband has two or three professions. He was a chef when he first came to this island, and he was a pilot for 40 years, 33 and a half at Cayman Airways alone. Okay, we're retired. Now I am taking care of my mental cousin. That she was mental from I would say, teenager, 16, 17. No father, no mother. And I have a big family. And not one soul says, is she still alive? Hurricane, storm, snow, whatever. They never say, can I give you a hand? Can I take her to the doctor? Can I get her medication? Nothing like that you would expect a family to help out. Some of the family clean, much younger than I, clean that they're busy. I'm busy too because I had my kidney removed a few years ago. I just got a knee replacement, but I'm not busy. I'm retired, so I'm doing nothing. Then I have a sister that with a stroke. Nobody offers to help. I sometimes go and talk to Dr. Lockhart, which is trying his level best. And what I would like to see in this island is that the people get together, the island people get together and try to get this institute in East End open up, help Dr. Lockhart and those, because I know it was him that has pushed this thing ahead. The sad thing about it, Miss Sandra, is that I was told that we have over 15 people, mental people in Jamaica, year in and year out. No family members visit. So they don't know how they're coming along. No psychiatrist has visited Jamaica to see how these people has come along. The government just keep piling the money in there. They don't know if these people is starving. They don't know if these people have clothes. They don't know if they're getting the medication. They don't know the condition that these people are living in. One or two people go and visit. But yet, when the foreigner come in here, we are embracing them. And when you know anything, they got more than we'll ever have. And we're killing ourselves working every day. What are we trying to say? We're Caymankind? Throw that out the door. Because many countries, as you had mentioned, and some other people have mentioned, we cannot go in other Caribbean islands and get the help that we're throwing out to some of these people and embracing them and putting our own Caymanians down all the time. We do that all the time. If we have a young Caymanian coming up and got the education, they have the experience, and especially it's happening in law firms, it's happening in government, it's happening all over Cayman. What the Caymanians do, I got mentioned again, they'll try their level best to keep that Caymanian down. And you know what it's doing to us? It's doing to us, like me, because I see it every day. I've seen it through my son. I've seen it through friends, children. I've seen it and seen it and seen it till I'm getting so doggone disgusted that the good people that would come in here and join us and be like us and say, this is their country. We got to give them a helping hand, but we don't see them. We don't see that hardly again, I mean, we don't see that anymore. They're few apart. There's a few, but they're far apart. And we're not really helping our own to come up.
Right.
But try that in our island called Bermuda. You can't even own anything in Bermuda unless you come from there. We know that. You can't own a piece of land in Bermuda if you don't come from there.
Right.
And here is a different story. But I know I could go on because I do enjoy your show. You tell it as it is. And I'm asking God to give you health and strength so you can go on and tell it as it is. Who like it or who don't like it, tough luck for them. I thank you for the time, Sandra. Like I said, I would love to go on, but other people would want to say something too.
Thank you, my
love.
love.
Thank you and have a good weekend.
You too. All right, my dear. So we're out in a little bit of overtime. Thank you, Chuck, always being so gracious. Jonathan says it's only a matter of time before the talking is done. Real Deal says Caymankind. Whoever came up with that should be covered in tar and feathered. I tell you, it's been so misused. It's ridiculous. Damien says it's discrimination with equality, nationality, race, gender, pay, and opportunities. Miss Darlene said 100% agree and forgot. If you start or have a little business, we suffer. Forget it if you start or have. Yeah, Sonny Child, I tell you. What a hot mess. Sandra says that they moved a Caymanian manager from Intertrust, put in an expat, then got fined millions of dollars for breaking laws that the Caymanian would not do. Oh, but I guess they'll gladly pay the millions of dollars and still not fire the expat worker. Gabby says me as a Caymanian is considering leaving again because I came back home as I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in another man's country, but I feel I'd be better off in Canada. There's no place like home, doesn't apply to Caymanians. Just my thoughts. Isn't that incredibly sad? Few more WhatsApp comments, and then we're going to start to wrap it up here. And for those of you listening to the program and you're clueless from the women in Cayman this morning, everyone is in the Caymanian community is reeling over the passing of one of our own doctors. Such a sad situation. I'm starting to gain some traction now with a lot of people realizing exactly who it is. This person says, my granny used to say from way back then, in fact, she told a few limes, you come here with one hand covering your stink front and the other hand plugging your stink the other end, just in case you wonder where I got my rudeness from, laughing out loud. Yeah, got it from granny. What a mess. The passive, quiet Caymanian is no longer. You want Caymankind, you better show respect. I'm teaching my children to fight for themselves and their rights. When you're right, you're right. And when you're wrong, you stand strong. And when you're wrong, you stand strong. Am I reading that right? Did I miss a word? When you're wrong, you stand strong? No, we can't be encouraging no Tiffany Conley behavior now. What do you mean? I may have misread that. Good morning. It proves how many loyal Caymanians are in the group. Why this person wasn't encouraged by the group in return whenever for the best interest of Cayman and for the best. No, well, I think a lot of people in that group, especially the Caymanians, just remain silent. They don't speak up because they know they'll be the comment will be removed or they'll be threatened removal. Another person said it would have been interesting to see any feedback given if you had reported on women in Cayman group, all the requests you get from persons asking for financial assistance over time, the young Caymanian mothers especially. I'm curious as to how the elites would respond and or how much help would have been offered. I thought they had requested people to stop posting that stuff in the group. But again, like I said, certain people are allowed to get help when others are not. This person says we need to tighten immigration laws and policies that allow all and sundry to come here. Also, we should not and cannot continue to allow anyone to buy land here freehold. There is little to little to nothing left, including land for the Caymanian people, and this needs to change ASAP. All right, let me read this one from a civil servant, keeping their ID confidential. Thank you for the conversation today. It is one that has to be had and repeated. I lived away from Cayman for a relatively long time, 10 plus years, and always had the ongoing plan and desire to return home. I have returned and work in the healthcare field. I'm troubled on the daily to see the overwhelming number of other nationalities that have taken over Cayman and the Caymanian voice. It is sad that so many were granted status and generational Caymanians have no true form of claiming that identity anymore. I was heartened to hear the new CMO state last night at the healthcare conference that in his short time here, he has put at the top of the list to advocate for creating paths for Caymanians in the healthcare field. He said, when ideas and discussions are being had, his first question will be, what part of this plan will ensure inclusion of Caymanians' advancement and growth? Great words and idea. Hopefully, he will stay within those thoughts and bring strong, educated, and passionate Caymanians, of which there are many, and are marginalized into the conversation. And good morning, and I hope you are having a good day. Yes, and on that note, folks, it is with great sadness that, again, here in the community, we know that one of our own doctors, recently qualified, returned to the Cayman Islands to give back to her community, unfortunately has passed away this morning after a vehicular accident. So our sources are sharing that apparently she was driving to work behind her parents. That makes sense now why they were on the scene so quickly. Lost control of her car, crashed, and it caught fire and burned her to death. Wow. She just finished with her doctorate this summer. So sad. Unbelievable. Sometimes we just don't understand. Condolences to the entire family. May this young lady rest in peace. Unbelievable. Soka says they're coolest women in Cayman. Sandra says, I would never vote again. All government is the same, old and new. Next week, let's start having a look at the census and what the census says about who we are as a country, because in real terms, there's a reason why Caymanians are feeling the way that they feel. Not just in a group of 8.5 thousand people, but like in the workplace and everything. Caymanians are a minority. And when you're a minority and you feel like the politicians don't listen to you, your HR managers, even if they put in a token Caymanian, they don't really care. They're just there to get a couple coins and to do what the master tells them to do. There's some real concerns to be had. If we are willing to engage, folks, we have to be honest, right? I have to be honest with you, regardless of where you come from, about what it is and how it is that Caymanians are feeling. If you were receptive to that, we could begin to bridge this gap that I've been talking about this morning. The gap exists on social media. And I want to challenge these people. Laura Toner, how many Caymanian friends you have, honey child? I see Johan is your friend on Facebook. Do you go to Johan's house and eat out of his pot and sit down and have a conversation with him and the dog about what it's like to be a Caymanian? Johan, are you offering your friendship services to some of these people you have as social media friends? Because a lot of them are truly disconnected. You know, they have the one or two token friends on social media, and it's only people who can kind of pass in a certain financial stratosphere. They've never been to Mango Tree in their lives. They don't know where the corner restaurant is, even if you don't eat corner, because I don't eat corner restaurant. I'm not gonna lie to you. But do you even know where it is? How much do you really know about the Cayman Islands? You've come here, we've given you status, you've gotten QC status, you've gotten this, that, and the next thing. But how much do you actually know about the Cayman Islands? Have you even tried? Do you care? Folks, another weekend is here. Begging y'all to please be careful, be mindful of the changes in the DUI law. That is for everybody, both Caymanians and expats, all y'all that are drinking and acting the fool. We ask you to be mindful now that the limit has been lowered. Hopefully the RCIPS will be out there in force, making y'all breathalyze. You just need to hang out at the bars. And as you come out about to get in your car, make you breathalyze first. You know what would be amazing? Can I make a suggestion? Let me just throw this out there. Every single bar, restaurant, and lounge in the Cayman Islands should have a breathalyzer machine. Now, I don't know how you do this. Do they have little pieces you can, because I'm not going to use it after somebody else just put their lips on it. But is there some kind of portable, like, you can take off a piece and stick on another piece? They should have these in these establishments. So before you go and even start the ignition, you breathe into it or you blow into it and see what your numbers are. And then you might be in a better informed position. Thank you, Miss Ann. Thank you, Sandra, Soka, Charlene, everybody. Over 400 people were in the live stream at one point. Thank you all so much. Aliana says, please, corner. They don't know that life. Blood too rich. Miss Carol says, Sandra, I'm so glad that Caymanians have you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Miss Leanna says, justice for Sham Grant. Drunk driver killed our boy. Oh my goodness, so sad. Jonathan says to all the people, don't think history doesn't repeat itself. The time is coming when the money will be worth nothing, will be worth nothing more than, I think that's supposed to say toilet paper. The police won't be there because the money worth nothing. So why would they come? After that, there'll be people on their knees praying to God. So I suggest you all be good to the people. I think that we are at a stage where we're not too far gone yet. We can still fix this. Like I said from the onset, you've got to be willing to listen to people. Big shout out in National Pride. I don't know if y'all noticed this morning, but I'm wearing my Cayman flag, which is something I seldom wear because normally I wear the coat of arms. This flag is so amazingly designed and so precious to me. I tend to only really wear it for special occasions, but given today's topic and I knew what was coming, I said, you know what? I'm going to wear my flag today. Big shout out to David from Prodigy Jewelers. Look at the, did he engrave this one for me? Oh, we have to engrave that one. Sean, I better try and put my name on it. This is a one of a kind flag. And I mean, solid gold, and he's got it all fixed up nicely for me. He actually did this blue of the ocean blue. It's like gold. Then he put the blue on it. Beautiful. I'm wearing my lovely Cayman coat of arms ring today as well. Just showing a little bit Cayman pride. I lived in another man's country for 15 years. And in those 15 years, I only came back to Cayman a handful of times, mostly because I was a child, really. And I didn't have choice regarding my travel. But what I can tell you is there's no place like home. I love the ground that we walk on here in Cayman. When I would travel and I'd get off that Cayman Airways plane back in the day, it just felt so good for the plane to touch down and for me to get out and my feet actually touch the soil from whence I came. I was born here. My daughter recently said, Mommy, where were you born? I'm like, in the same hospital as you, little girl. Georgetown Hospital. The Caymanian people are amazing people. We will embrace you if you come with the right attitude. But attitude is everything. Don't come around with no stinking attitude and think you can tell me, but I must remove a post. You must have lost your goddamn mind. No. And I'm saying it as nicely as I possibly can. The answer is no. Respect Caymanians. If you're here in this country, you have to learn, you should be willing to learn a little bit about our culture. This is who we are. Sit down and have a plate of turtle meat. Soka can be cussing because she don't eat meat. And she definitely not eating no turtle. But you know what? Have some fish run down. Have some nice Caymanian rice and beans. Have somebody in East End make you a nice cassava cake. Put a few pounds on your rear end. Appreciate Caymanian music. Go to church with a Caymanian. You're at work right now. You see that Caymanian receptionist, go walk up to her and say, oh, where do you go to church? She'll probably tell you, I go to John Gray United Church, whatever. Oh, can I come to church with you on Sunday? Yes, go see what it's like. We have been so marginalized in this country. We are minority. It's unusual. It's like we're more endangered than the friggin' iguanas. The native iguanas, that is, not the other ones that imported. You see, even the iguanas have done what has been done here. The Honduran iguanas come in, they've taken over. They're everywhere, all over the streets, being a nuisance to everybody, run them over left, right, and center. The native iguanas, you can only see them at the Botanic Park behind a fence, except the one that escaped the other day, poor him. But you have to be willing. Caymanians will meet you halfway. We're not mean people by nature. But come with the right attitude. Stop trying to gaslight us, because one thing I know is the whole gaslighting thing don't work on me. And, you know, I just take an attitude of I do not care. If I don't care about you gaslighting me, what harm do you think you can do? You and your friends are going to be sitting down having socialite dinners talking about CMR. And hey, Sandra's just so incorrigible. I don't quite know what we're going to do with her. You don't worry about it. You don't have to read CMR. You don't have to listen to CMR. You don't have to like CMR. But like somebody said, the day you lose that David Yerman bracelet or whatever else it is, you will come running to CMR to help you find it, as you have in the past. And, you know, we help you the same way, just like we've helped everybody else. We can post it up. And some of y'all have such low morality. Remember the one that we posted, the lost bracelet? And the woman, what was the brand of that bracelet again? Then she turned around, claimed that she was going to offer a reward. And after we posted it and said she's going to offer a reward, helped her get the bracelet back. It was a, oh God, help me remember this fancy name now. Oh, these bracelets are very expensive, honey child. And she claimed that, oh, she's going to give a reward. And the young man found the bracelet because he saw it. He came back and he said, Miss Sandy, I'm going to do the right thing and I'm going to hand in the bracelet. All of a sudden, married to Caymanian, Jefferson, she's trying to find every reason why she not going to pay him what she promised she'd pay him. And I said, honey child, one thing Caymanians, well, some of y'all don't get the memo, but most of us, you are a person of your word. This bracelet is thousands of dollars. And you give him a couple of $100. No, it's not a Pandora, man. It's a, oh my God, you know who would know? David. Cartier, thank you. Yes, some of y'all remember the story. The Cartier bracelet worth thousands of dollars. Oh, we're going to give you a little bit of a, we'll give you a little bit of a reward. And then when it came down to it being so friggin' cheap, she didn't want to pay the young man. And I said, no, honey child. TD, not today. You're going to pay that man. And I'm also going to let people know the type of person you are. Yes, you have come here and married to Caymanian, but you and him both not got no scruples. Because as your Caymanian spouse, he should have never allowed you to think that you could come here, offer a public award, and then backtrack on your word. Let me give you an example of how incredibly rude and salty these people are before I play the news. They had the audacity to call the police. Oh, Miss Sanders said she's going to talk about this on her show. And you know the police can be stupid, so of course they called me. Oh, we'd rather you not talk about it. I was like, Good for you. I'm glad you have a say in my show content. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. What you should be doing is having a conversation with this woman about honesty and integrity and keeping your word. Don't call my phone again. And I hung up on him. You know who had to step up and put an end to this foolishness? Same David from Prodigy, because him and the husband grew up together, West Bayers. Called him, because the wife already lying now, changing up the story, changing up the narrative about what happened. David called his good friend and said, you need to back the hell off. Nothing Sandy has said is not true. She has told the truth because the guy brought the bracelet to him. Because when he found the bracelet, it was broken. Oh, it has sentimental value because my Caymanian husband gave me this bracelet as an anniversary present. What he needed to do was give you a training course in Caymanian culture for your birthday. That's what you should have gotten. This is the foolishness that we allow to happen in the Cayman Islands. I am married to a foreign national, and there's certain things that I would put my foot down and say, no, honey child, you can't be saying that, and you can't be doing that, and blah, blah, blah. Even if he was inclined to do it, which he's not really that kind of person. So even as Caymanians, right, we have more married foreigners, great, beautiful Indian-looking woman, good for her, whatever. And we allow them to come here and disrespect our culture and disrespect our people. My first husband was also a foreign national, white American with blue eyes, and I put my foot down same way. You come here, you learn the culture. When my sister-in-law came from America and sat down at my dining room table and started to share these absolutely ridiculous stories about Caymanians in Northside living in the bushes because her white bird watching friend had told her this because she's an expert on the Cayman Islands. I said, Cece, her name was Cece, Cecilia. I said, Cece, please don't make my head take me today. Instead of you coming here with a view to educating yourself from someone who actually knows what's going on, this woman telling her people on Northside living in the bushes. I'm like, this woman never had life so good in her damn life. Y'all are so unscrupulous. And I put my foot down right at that dining room table in Rackley Boulevard. I said, don't come to me with it today. Not today, Bobo. You have an obligation to set people straight. Morning, Kimberly. She says, big up to Georgetown Hospital and everybody who was born there. You have an obligation to speak up. This is your country. This is your birthright. If you're not going to fight for it, and if you're not going to speak up, who the hell going to do it? El Rey says maybe they should put part of the PR requirement is that you buy and eat from some of the real local restaurants like Corner, Mango Tree, CN, Miss Vivine's Kitchen. Oh, yes. And let's not forget Miss Elrita. They should all know where Miss Elrita is and go on and get a plate of her food. Soka's requesting that we send her a Cayman car flag. We'll see if we can find one. Good child. They're probably hard to find these days. She lost hers when she lowered the back window by mistake. Went looking for it and it was nowhere to be found. Aw. We'll try and find you one, honey child. Real deal says plenty of them that come love Cayman ground too, but they will never admit it. Between their entitlers and the poor uncultured class we import, it isn't going to end well for Cayman. Well, we have to change that narrative. That's our job. Miss Charlene says, thank you, Sandra, for being our voice and backbone, honey child. Miss Ann says she don't need no pounds on her. She says, love the humor. Soka says, I was born in my grandmother's room. That's where that's why she treated me like I was for her. Oh, my sweet. Damien says that they just want to save the bubbies. Is it bubbies or boobies? It's boobies. Bubbies, I think, is something else. And rock iguanas and blue, that's what they want to save. Well, we better try and save ourselves too, honey chill. I'm just saying. Miss Debbie says, Sandy, I lived in England for many, many years and immersed myself in the culture and respect the people, culture and country. People need to do the same here. Debbie, are we going for some curry chicken waffle cone today? Down by Waffle Monkeys? Ooh, honey child. Mr. William Levy says, I have so much I'd like to say. Put in short, we need to stop granting so many work permits, stop selling permanent residency. You want to see how fast rental costs will go down. There will be giving free months. Nothing lasts forever. Cayman has been creating poverty for far too long. Perla looking for some cassava cake for her belated birthday. Oh, when was your birthday, Perla? Y'all know I'm not really a lover of cassava cake, but it is a Caymanian thing. Charlene says gaslighting others when they can't only proves to the public what they're really all about. Child, please. Like I tell them, they can gaslight anything they want. I got a gas stove, honey child. You're not gaslighting me. William says, matter of fact, let's keep granting it. I'd like to see work permits costs be tripled. That would probably be a better solution. Yes, it was a Cartier bracelet, Forever Love brand. Mess with them. Dave says some way they think they trick us when they hire us about salary increases in 6 months to a year. And even when you go above your duties, they still go back on their word. Really? We need to start outing some of these people, honey child. Cameron says CMR the best and the contributing community, we're all champions. Stacy, Charlene, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Cameron says some people in the bushes on Mall Road too. I guess so, my child. What a mess. Jessica agreed. I'd had to let my husband set my husband straight many times. Yes, you tell him how it go. Respect is respect. You don't see me going to his country as I please. Some should go for everyone that steps into another man's country. Same should go for everyone. Yes. Bird watching friend. She was her bird watching friend, child. The two of them got their binoculars and they were going to go bird watching in the bushes. So I was like, okay, but your bird watching friend is a little bit clueless about what's actually happening in the Cayman Islands. All right, folks. Please have a wonderful weekend. Again, our condolences to this family who's dealing with a very, very tragic situation here this morning. Embrace them with love. And it's just an unbelievable situation. Here's the news from Kevin Watler. We really appreciate Kevin stepping up to the plate and keeping us updated at all times. Bit of good news for the RCIPS. They actually have a man for sexual assault finally off the streets of our beautiful country. You know, we need to take criminals off the streets no matter who they are. The McRuss robbery remains an ongoing investigation. Folks, if you know something, I'm begging you to please reach out to the RCAPS and provide them with information. That is also our responsibility as good citizens of this country, as Caymanians, right? Don't let anybody ruin our country, Caymanian or otherwise. Simple as that. The drug boat that came in a couple days ago, I heard that was Caymanians that were out there trying to clear the boat. And when things got hot, they ran off. Step up to the plate and do the right thing by our country. All right, folks, that's all I got for you. Here's your news.
Hello, I'm Kevin Watler, and this is your CMR Daily Buzz. The police have launched an investigation into Wednesday night's McRuss grocery store robbery off Party Lane in Prospect. They confirmed that 4 men entered the store and displayed firearms at 3 workers on duty before escaping on foot toward the rear of the property with cash and other items. Anyone who has information that could help police with the investigation are encouraged to contact them on 949-7777. The new amendments to the Traffic Act took effect on Wednesday. The recent passing of the Traffic Amendment Bill 2022 has reduced the legal blood alcohol concentration for drivers from 0.1% to 0.07%. Drivers are reminded that it is recommended that persons consuming alcohol refrain from operating a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, regardless of the amount consumed. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service says it has actively begun to enforce the new restrictions. The new Chief Medical Officer for the Cayman Islands, Dr. Nick Gent, has arrived and he has hit the ground running. Strengthening public health nationally is a priority for the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and Dr. Gent sees this goal as being achieved through several key actions: strengthening local epidemiology services, acquiring data to determine the actual state of health of the population, and setting up systems to ensure continuous monitoring of that information, introducing data-driven interventions and programming to help improve the lives and wellness of Caymanians and residents. The Cayman Islands Veterans Association's annual gala and official poppy pinning made a grand return last Saturday evening. Veterans who have served the Cayman Islands and other countries were celebrated at the benefit event. Everyone is invited to attend the annual Remembrance Day parade on Sunday, November 13th. Now for your CMR weather update, it's brought to you by WG Charters. Sunrise at 6:22. Expect thunderstorms throughout the day and night. While overcast, it will feel a little cooler than it has been when the temperature is around 83 degrees Fahrenheit and the humidity at 78% like the forecast calls for. It will feel around 90 degrees when the sun is out. Winds north-northeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and the sun sets at 5:58. At nighttime, the temperature falls to the high 70s. Looking forward, higher rain chances for the weekend, so keep that in mind as you plan your weekend. CMR weather updates are brought to you by WG Charters. They offer private boat trips for a great price, and we encourage you to support them. Now for some regional and international news. Sprint legend Usain Bolt made a multi-million-dollar donation to his alma mater, William Knibb Memorial High School. The donation was made in collaboration with Digicel Foundation and sports gear manufacturer Puma. The 8th-time Olympic champion made the announcement on a visit to the school on Wednesday. A Texas woman who has worked at a family medical practice for 20 years reportedly caught an STD after the janitor put his genitals in her water bottle. Reports are that the woman used to get water from the employee water dispenser. However, she recently began bringing her own bottles because she noticed the water had a weird taste and smell. After an investigation, it was discovered that a janitor was responsible. Authorities said he was infected with herpes simplex virus type 1 and chlamydia when arrested on October 5th. British Prime Minister Liz Truss resigned less than 2 months into the job, becoming the shortest-serving leader in British political history. Truss lasted just 44 days in office. Her announcement came after her attempt to roll out a series of aggressive tax cuts aimed at spurring economic growth, but which dramatically affected financial markets. Members of her own Conservative Party had been calling for her to step down less than 2 months after she took over from Boris Johnson, who was also pressured out of the position. The previous shortest tenure of a British leader was held by Sir Alec Douglas-Home, who served for 1 year and 1 day from 1963 to 1964. That's it for now on the Daily Buzz. Thank you for joining me. Please stay safe and God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.